oras ang taping day?
Hindi, kasi ako natanong din ng ABSCBN, kung may cut-off kami, pwede ako mag-cut-off na hanggang alas 12 ng umaga, hanggang alas 2. Naalala ko nung kasama ko pa si Eddie Garcia, tinatanong ko kung anong cut-off niya, sabi niya hanggang alas 2 daw siya. Nasa artista po yun eh. Kaya hindi naman siguro babayaran ng overtime kung hihingi ng cut-off. Kahit magdamag kami mag-shooting, ako hindi po ako humingi ng cut-off kahit alas 6, alas 9. Kami ng umaga natatapos. Then, ng ABS-CBN. Yung po ang kung may katatanong kami pa na wala silang overtime, hindi sila binabaya. Lalong-lalo na po may nagsalita na wala daw po, sa 11,000 na nagtatrabaho sa inyo, wala daw po silang SSS, Pag-ibig. Totoo ba ito?
Pinuno, hindi po totoo yun. Lahat po sila may mga benepisyo po above the mandated benefits of the government.
Kaya ko lang po tinatanong to dahil mga pira nila sa inyo patalikod, baka masagot nyo rito sa kapulungan na ito. Ngayon, may pag-ibig mo ba sila?
Yeah, pag-ibig.
If I may answer, Madam Chair. Yung mga project employees po na naka-assign sa mga programa, we call them program employees, pursuant to policy instruction number 4. ABS-CBN pays for their SSS, Pag-ibig, and PhilHealth. We shoulder that full amount. Para po sa mga artista who are hired as independent contractors, yung mga writers, directors, because the contract is a negotiation, depende po yun sa negotiation. But for the bulk of our independent contractors, we provide for SSS, Pag-ibig, PhilHealth, among other benefits po. Hindi lang hanggang doon.
Yung mga crew ninyo?
Kasama po, meron po.
Mr. Katikba, nung unang sinasabi niyo, di pa kayo pinapanganak. Nung unang kumuha kayo ng franchise, siguro na itanong niyo sa lolo ng lolo niyo, hindi kayo nahirapan.
Sa pagkakaalam ko po, hindi naman ho nahirapan.
Pangalawa, franchise, hindi rin kayo nahirapan.
Sa pagkakaalam ko po, hindi po.
Pangatlo, ngayon. Hindi, pangatlo ngayon. Pangatlong franchise ngayon. Sa loob ng 25 years. Nahirapan ba kayo? Hindi.
Nahirapan po.
Kaya kayo nandito dito.
Opo.
Tanong ko lang kay Mr. Ko, kay Martin Lopez, kung sino man sa inyong ABS-CBN, galit ba ang presidente sa inyo? Kaya kayo nahihirapan? Tanong lang.
Your Honor, basehan lang po sa mga nakikita namin sa TV, ng mga pronouncement ng presidente, yun yung basehan namin kung ano yung galit ng presidente sa ABS-CBN.
Kasi hindi naman lingid ang sa ating mahal na presidente na nagsasalita against sa ABS-CBN. May minura pa nga si artist ang namura niya, hindi yung may-ari ng ABS-CBN. Pero hindi ko napapanggitin dito kung ano man yun. Kaya nahihirapan kayo ngayon. Bakit tayo nandito ngayon? Lahat. Ang dami naman nangyayari ng prangkisa rito eh. Doon lang tayo sa rector room, rito. Pero dito, ang laki-laki ng coverage dito. Kaya tinatanong ko ito, kung galit sa inyo ang Pangulong Duterte na may galit sa inyo, ano yun? Para masabi nyo dito, kung pwede kayong humingi ng paumanin, humingi kayo ng tawad. Kung ano man pagkukulang nyo, nasa inyo ang mic. Yun lang po. Maraming salamat.
Bihirang magsalita ang ating pinuno, pero pag nagsalita, talagang durog lahat. So, iba. Pati ako natulala doon pakisagot po yung maraming mga katanungan ni Senator Lapid. Yung unang-una, ano bang sa pagkakaalala ninyo ang dahilan kung bakit di umanong marahil ay nahihirapan kayo ngayon? At kung meron man kayong gustong sabihin, panalinawin or humingi ng paumanhin, nasa inyo daw ang mikropono.
Your Honor, so far hindi po namin alam talaga kung ano yung mga galit ng presidente sa ABS-CBN, except po sa kung ano yung sinasabi niya sa mga speech niya tungkol sa ABS. Yun lang po yung alam namin na mga issue ng presidente sa ABS-CBN.
Madam Chair.
Senator
As a follow-up,
Rivera.
Madam Chair, totoo po ba na tumanggi daw kayong i-air yung isang political ad ni Presidente, kaya sila galit sa inyo?
Your Honor, may I refer the matter to our CEO?
Mr. Katigbak.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yung,
Actually, I'm sorry. Sabi ko nga pala bago tayo magpatuloy ng mga katanungan, dapat may opening statement pa. Tapusin na muna natin yon, tapos dun tayo pumunta sa mga tanong. Senator Go?
Medyo mahaba lang tong opening statement ko, ma'am, pero maraming laman at you might be interested to listen carefully. Madam Chair, distinguished colleagues and our resource persons, a pleasant good morning to everyone. Allow me to give a brief opening statement. Not brief. We are here today to talk about an issue which has been all over headlines of almost every news outlet in the country over the last few weeks. Today, along with other broadcast franchise applications, we are here to talk about legislative franchise of ABS-CBN. Before I say anything, let me first state, in the light of a pending case before the Supreme Court, dealing with the issues surrounding ABS-CBN's current franchise, that I respect the authority of the High Court as a co-equal branch of government. I shall respect its decision if it so decides that certain issues are better left to the discussion pending before them now. Further, I also respect the authority of the House of Representatives, our fellow legislators, whom, under the origination clause of our Constitution, are given the primary responsibility to initiate private and local bills, among others. Nanawagan po ako sa ating mga kasamahan sa lower house na gawin na ang kanilang mandato sa saligang batas at umpisahan na ang diskurso. Habang tumatagal, lalong umiinit ang diskusyon at ang damdamin ng mga Pilipino. Let us get to the bottom of it. Shall we vote to approve or deny the franchise renewal? Ganun lang ho kasimple. Huwag na natin sayangin ang oras ng publiko. Let us deal with the issue now, so we can turn our attention to the countless other matters that require our full and undivided attention. Sinabi ko na rin po dati na ang pagdinig na magaganap ngayong umaga ay maaaring magbibigay ng kapaliwanagan sa napakaraming katanungan na lumabas hinggil sa isyong ito. Diniin ko din po kung anuman ang pagdinig. Diniin ko din po kung anuman po ang mangyari sa pagdinig na ito. I would participate for the sake of the people and decide, just as the President says, according to good conscience. Gawin na natin ito, alang-alang na po sa libo-libong empleyado ng ABS-CBN at sa milyon-milyong Pilipinong taga-subaybay nito, both to whom the network owes the highest degree of responsibility, being the largest broadcast network in the nation, and a grantee of legislative franchise. Kapakanan at interes po ng bawat Pilipino ang dapat manguna sa anumang magiging desisyon. May mga katanungan na inihain ang Solicitor General sa Korte Suprema sa petisyong ito ukol sa kasulukuyang prangkisa ng ABS-CBN. Whether or not these things can be discussed in this forum is a question for this committee to address. There is no doubt that addressing these issues can shed light on the question of whether or not this franchise grantee has been compliant not only with the provisions of its current franchise but equally important with the provisions of other laws as well. Of course, it is also important to ask our resource persons their opinions on what will happen to the grantee's operations if upon the expiration of the franchise as provided under Republic Act 7966, a law is yet to be passed by Congress. As the saying goes, we want to give every party, especially the applicant in question, their fair day in court. I also want to hear them address these issues in front of the public, lest we say that we did not do our job as legislators to give every party the right to be heard. These are the things we must do, and we owe to the public to do these things according to our good conscience. Before I end my brief opening remarks, let me just reiterate that every grantee of a legislative franchise faces responsibilities imposed upon them. In the case of the franchise grantee in question, the grantee is specifically required, among others, to provide at all times sound and balanced programming, conform to the ethics of honest enterprise, and not use its station for the dissemination of deliberately false information or willful misrepresentation to the detriment of the public interest. Our law also mandates our authorities to ensure that radio, television, or cable television broadcasting entities do not manifestly favor or oppose any candidate or political party. Moreover, our laws also require all members of media, television, radio, or print to scrupulously report and interpret the news, taking care not to suppress essential facts nor to distort the truth. Madam Chair, my dearest colleagues here, it is not often that Congress has the opportunity to discuss legislative franchises of broadcasting entities of this scope and magnitude. This may be an opportunity to examine closely whether or not the provisions we introduce in our franchise laws are effective in imposing high degree of responsibility incumbent upon grantees of broadcast franchises. Let us take this opportunity to ensure that legislative franchises we grant through the laws we enact are geared toward the protection of public interest and are not used to mislead or misinform the public. Marahil po alam ng kararamihan ang mga hinaing ng ating Pangulo, not against ABS-CBN or its people, but against some practices of the network that appear to be improper and done with ill intent. Ngayon po ay public knowledge na ito. Noong taong 2016, sa kasagsagan po ng election season, ay hindi po na-ere ang ilang ads ng ating Pangulo. Okay. Isa-isa po yan. Alam po din ng karamihan ang tungkol sa isang video, a video which has obviously meant to malign the then presidential candidate, Mayor Rodrigo Duterte, for the purpose of destroying his reputation and turning the tide against his overwhelming popularity that time. Kindly.
Ito ba ang gusto nyo?
Kayo ang patayin ko.
Patayin ko na.
Mali po ang pumatay.
Ano ka, umuwi ka na?
Tama po ba murahin ng Santo Papa?
Hoy, ang NPA.
Ituro niyo po sa amin ang tama.
Napakaganda. Dapat ang mayor muna ang mauna.
Mali po mambastos ng babae.
Marami ka, President, ito bigla.
Ito po ba ang gusto niyo maging halimbawa para sa amin?
Paano po ito naging political ad? Are you promoting a candidate here or are you destroying a candidate? Gusto ko lang malaman ano ba ang priority ng network? Ano ba ang mas importante sa inyo? Black propaganda or political ads? But in this case, airing the black propaganda video appeared to be more important than earning income from airing legitimate ads that have already been paid for. the non-airing of ads already paid for, and the subsequent airing of ads for the purpose of maligning a person display an intent to oppose a particular candidate. Sino ba ang gumawa nito? Sino ba ang nagbayad para dito? Bakit ni-refund ang already paid ads ni then Mayor Duterte? Kindly show the check. It was addressed to me and the refund to Rodrigo Duterte. Hindi na po tinanggap ni Pangulong Duterte yung refund kasi tapos na po ang election. What if natalo siya nung election? Dahil sa isang paninirang binayaran ng isang alam niya na sino nagbayad, nakalagay naman dun sa baba. Pero pinabayaan ng network na may ere ang paninira na ito. This is clearly black propaganda. Sino ang pumayag na i-ere ito? Bakit ninyo pinayagan? Bakit kinailangan pa ng TRO para mahinto ang pag-ere nito? The RTC which granted the TRO even pointed out that the propaganda video shows minors being used in black propaganda. Thus, as pointed out by the court, the ad must be suppressed at once as repeated broadcasting of the same will be irreparably inimical to the children's welfare and interest. So I would like to correct my fellow colleague in this chamber. Hindi mababaw ang rason ng Pangulo sa kanyang grievances against the network. Nasaktan ang presidente, nababoy ang presidente, hindi vindictive ang Pangulo. But it is clear that someone went overboard in trying to malign him. Nakalagay sa Fair Elections Act, all members of media, television, radio, or print shall scrupulously report and interpret the news, taking care not to suppress essential facts nor to distort the truth by omission or improper emphasis. They shall recognize the duty to air the other side and the duty to correct substantive errors promptly. Remember, in election campaign, especially in a presidential campaign, there is no tomorrow. Every second matters, isa lang ang mananalo. Kaya malaking bagay ang makapag-ere ng mga ads. Napaka-unfair naman kung i-ere yun sa kalaban mo. Na alam naman natin na black propaganda. Inuna pa yung black propaganda ng kalaban mo kesa i-ere yung sayo na bayad na. So, to summarize my point, nawalan ng mahalagang oras sa kampanya ang isang kandidato dahil mas pinili na i-ere ang black propaganda for a slot that could have been used by ads that have already been paid for. It is unfair to allow negative ad a week before the election and then not to approve legitimate ads for then presidential candidate Mayor Duterte. It says so in the Fair Elections Act. In fact, yung pagiging unfair na ito ay nirecognize ng korte, kaya nga ginrant po ng RTC ang TRO. That is why for me, this is very troublesome. Media networks are supposed to be neutral and impartial, but if this is the case, if some media networks and some political elites and economic elites can get together and destroy the candidacy of one candidate, tama po ang Pangulo na labanan ang mga elitista at oligarkiya na kasalukuyang naghahari sa ating bansa. Di ba sabi niyo po, in the service of the Filipino nation, ganun din po ako, serbisyo sa Pilipino. So unahin natin ang interes ng Pilipino. Trabaho ko po, my job as a legislator is to vote according to my conscience, and my conscience is with the Filipino people. Anong kasiguraduhan, di na po ito maulit. Kung nagawa ito sa kandidato na mayor sa probinsya ng Davao, Paano po kaya sa isang ordinaryong Pilipino at sa ordinaryong mamamayan na takot makipaglaban? Ano pa kaya ang pwedeng magawa nyo sa isang ordinaryong empleyado lamang? Paano pa kaya kung ordinaryong Pilipino lamang? Sa totoo lang, maraming tumatangkilik sa inyong programa. Ako rin po, tumatangkilik rin po ako sa inyong programa. Mula noon hanggang ngayon, ako na may naniniwala sana sa inyong in the service of the Filipino. Kaya dapat unahin natin ang interes at pagserbisyo sa bawat Pilipino. Wala pong hingi si Pangulo noon pa man, ni hindi nga po yan nakikipag-usap sa mga media. Fair reporting, that is all the President wants. Ano lang po ang totoo, nothing more, nothing less. Kung masama ka kay Pangulo, mas maging masama siya sa iyo. Kung mabait ka kay Pangulo, mas mabait siya sa iyo. If you want fair reporting, then ilabas ninyo ang katotohanan. Kung bakit nasaktan ang Pangulo, mayroong bang mga media na mas priority pa nila ilabas ang sa tingin nilang mali at mapanira kaysa ilabas ang mabuting pagsiservisyo na binibigay natin sa ating kapwa Pilipino. Nonetheless, kung ako po ang tatanungin, I will appeal to the President for the simple reason na ayaw ko na may mawalan ng trabaho. Madam Chair, magandang umaga. Salamat po.
Thank you, Senator Go. I would like to ask ABS for their response to this.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If I may just reply, my understanding is there are two issues that we need to reply to. One is the failure to air the President's ads, and the second one is the reasons behind why the ad of Senator Trillanes was aired. So let me start with the first one, which is the failure to air the President's ads. Just to provide context, we have two kinds of political ads that are sold to candidates. The first one is a national ad, which is seen all over the country. And the second one is a local ad, which is normally seen within just a specific province. For the national ads, we have an allocation of 19 minutes of commercial airtime per hour. And for local ads, we have an allocation of only 2 minutes of airtime per hour. Doon po sa Presidente, the President placed an order for 117 million pesos worth of national ads, of which we aired all 117 million. In other words po, 100% of the President ads, which were ordered for a national airing, were accommodated and broadcast and aired by the station. Doon po sa local ads, nagka-problema talaga kami because we only have 2 minutes of airtime per hour. In the case of the local ads, the President placed an order of 65 million worth of spots, of which we failed to air 7 million pesos worth. Our policy on all our ads is first come, first serve, and many of these spots were ordered on May 3rd, and May 7th was the last day of the campaign period. So there had been many previous telecast orders that were already ahead, that came in ahead of the President's telecast order. So that being said, of the 7 million po na hindi namin na-ere, we were able to refund approximately 4 million pesos to the President, and that was accepted. We were delayed in refunding the 2.6 million, which Senator flashed on the screen, and that 2.6 million was no longer accepted by the President. On this issue, I think we acknowledge our shortcoming in our failure to release that refund in a timely manner. And we corrected that so that in 2019, our policy is 7 days. If your spot is not aired, the check should be back with the client or with the advertiser within 7 days. So we acknowledge po our shortcoming dun po sa refund. Doon naman po sa ad ni Senator Trillanes, under the Fair Election Act, if I be allowed to read, for the purpose of this act, lawful election propaganda shall include, in Section 4, any broadcast of election propaganda by television or radio for or against a candidacy. That, to us po, was the first reason why our internal committee gave a green light to the ad. That the second reason why the committee gave a green light to the ad was they felt that, unlike the first version of the ad, which we rejected because we felt that the children were performing inappropriate actions or behaviors, there was a revised version of the ad, which Senator showed earlier, that showed the children merely asking questions. And so we felt that it did not violate any of our internal policies. The third reason why our ethics committee decided to push through with airing the ad is under the KBP code, we are required not to discriminate against any candidate. In other words, any candidate that comes to our station with an ad that is legal and legitimate must be accommodated. Unlike the ads of the president that we were unable to air, all of these ads were aired on a national basis, part of the 19 minutes per hour and not part of the local 2 minutes per hour, which is why there was enough inventory to accommodate the ad. At the end of this whole discussion, I think we were sorry if we offended the president. That was not the intention of the network. We felt that we were just abiding by the laws and regulations that surround the airing of political ads. And I think today we want to make a categorical statement together with our chairman, Mark Lopez, that ABS does not and will not have its own political agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Katigbak. Before I go to Senator Hontiveros, I would like to ask the NTC, sa mga pagkakataon na ganito, kunyari ay nagkaroon ng paglabag ang isang network. Kasi kami sa MTRCB, ako dati, pag meron isang pinapalabas na obscene, pornographic, o kaya inciting to sedition, mga ganon, bawal talaga yon. Meron din naman kasundo, pero pagdating sa mga commercial, wala sa poder ng MTRCB yon, or nagkaroon na ng Memorandum of Agreement with KBP at saka yung Ad Standards Council, kung hindi ako nagkakamali. So sa pagkakataon na yon, gusto kong tanungin ang KBP at saka siguro si Mr. Alampay, si Mr. Direct Joel Lamangan na meron pang shooting, kaya sana marinig na rin natin yung kanyang pananaw. Alam mo, ako kasi naging kandidato rin ako ilang beses na eh. Lahat kami dito. Masakit talaga pag nagkakaroon ng mga ine-ere na kontra sa'yo o maaaring makasira sa'yo. Subalit, kung ito naman ay makatotohanan, kung may basihan, siguro mahirap pigilan, no? Nung nakaraang eleksyon, bagamat sa radyo lamang, meron ding negatibong sinabi sa akin. Kaya malalaman mo kung sino. Kasi dun sa ad na yon sa radyo, ang nagbayad pa isang kumpanya, parang ACS yata ang sinasabi, ako, si Mayor Duterte noon, at saka si Vice President Binay. Kaming tatlo yung tinira. So, masakit, pero kung may basihan, mahirap din pigilin. Siguro kahit hindi ito sa poder ng COMELEC, no? Pwede ba natin gawa ng lehislasyon na sabihin ay walang negative campaigning? Paano na ngayon yun? Di ba? Medyo mahirap. So, KBP, ano bang, dapat ba hindi in-air ang mga ganitong ads? Number 2, kung merong violation, dahil alam natin, ang GMA7, ang ABS-CBN, ang TV5, lahat nagkaroon ng violation yan in terms of airing. Noon pa, nung nandun ako sa MTRCB, at nasuspinde ang TV5, ang isang show nila. Ang ABS, meron din, I think, mga suspensions in the past. So pag ganitong pagkakamali, kunyari nakita, hindi dapat in-air talaga yung commercial na yan dahil napaka-negatibo. Ano ang penalty dapat? Shutdown ba ng kumpanya? suspension, multa? So first, KBP, what is your view on this ad? Should it not have been aired?
Madam Chair, firstly, tama po yung sinabi niyo about ads, no, that there's already an agreement between the MTRCB and the Ad Standards Council. Ang ASC, Ad Standards Council, is the one in charge of reviewing all advertising materials for television, for all platforms, by the way. It's not just television, it's television, radio, digital, print. No? Fortunately, ang covered po ng ASC are only ads that, mayroong exception ang coverage ng ASC, that's what I should say, no? Hindi po kasama ng review ng ASC ang mga political ads and advocacies and government ads. On political ads, I guess the main reason for that, kasi every time an ad is reviewed by the ASC, kailangan substantiate po ito. There has to be complete substantiation of the ads. And political ads are very difficult to substantiate. So hindi po covered yan ng...
Hindi covered ng KBP yan or ng...
Hindi po covered ng...
ASN.
Tama po yan.
Okay.
Hindi po covered ng ASC nor the KBP, yung mga political ads. Pero if it's program content and someone complains about anything that's uttered, anything that's put on air, any person, any institution can file a complaint against a KBP member. And ABSCBN happens to be a KBP member. If there was anything that anyone wanted to file or to complain about anything that came out from the program of any member of the KBP, they can file a complaint with the KBP, and the KBP will hear this like a judicial undertaking. No? We have what we call the KBP, the Standards Authority, which hears all these complaints and passes judgment. You'd also ask, ma'am, what are the consequences if proven that any network or any personality is guilty? We have a table of penalties and fines ranging from monetary fines to all the way to suspension of membership from the KBP.
How long was the suspension usually? I mean, the longest that you've implemented?
There have been members that have been suspended for 3 months for some serious offenses, Madam Chair.
But individuals, not an entire, the whole network or station?
Mostly individuals are the ones suspended, their accreditation suspended for a certain period, which means they should not be on air while their suspension is in effect.
Thank you, Mr. Nicdao.
Madam Chair, the issue on the payment of ads and not being aired, I also suffered that for the record in 2013. I actually had a discussion with, I already spoke to Mark Lopez and Carlo Cadibac about it on ano mga hakbang na ginawa nila para hindi mangyari muli yan. Kasi masakit sa amin. In 2013, I ran in the opposition, and we really felt that we had a difficult time coming into the networks and putting our ads. Kasi syempre, hirap na nga kami nasa opposition at kung nakakuha na tayo ng pondo, nakafile ka ng ad space, tapos ang sama ng loob mo na hindi pinalabas. I'm sharing the experience probably of not only President Duterte, but I believe also Sherwin, si Senator Gatchalian. It happened to Senator Gatchalian, Senator Tolentino, Senator Recto, and many of us. So maybe ano kayang magawa natin mga hakbang? Because this is important sa inyong franchise application. When it reaches us here, hindi naman namin siguro i-approve yan pro forma. Siguro maglalagay po tayo ng mga safeguards para hindi po mangyari muli yun. Because for me, I think hindi naman tama na sabihin ng tao ninyo o ng ahensya na binibigyan natin ng pera, hirap na nga tayo magkaroon ng pondo para sa eleksyon, na tanggapin namin and we will air the ad, what you call it, pay before broadcast. Pay before broadcast. So, yung kandidato, naghihintay po sa kanilang mga bahay, naghihintay po ng airing ng inyong ad, either in TV Patrol or in Provinciano, Tapos mamaya-maya, hindi lumabas at nagtataka ka, ba't hindi lumabas? Umaabot ng alas 11, naghihintay ka pa, hindi lumabas. So, and eventually, hindi talaga lumabas, and then they call you for a refund. I think that's not right. To be personal about it. And I believe Carlo and Mark Lopez and Carlo Katigbak had already committed to make changes. Sana po may mga hakbang kayo. For example, if the fellow candidate pays for this slot, dapat may commitment po kayo, nilalabas sa slot na yun. Ngayon, kung puno na yung slot na yun, sabihin nyo lang sa amin. Di ba, yung mga kandidato, naku Migs, wala na. Punong-puno na talaga Thursday, punong-puno na Friday. Wala na talaga magagawa. Para yung kandidato, makalagay po ng pondo sa GMA7, sa TV5, at sa ibang channel at ibang venue, social media or what have you. I think those are the steps that we'd like to hear also from ABS because it's happened to all of us. Maybe ask Chairman ABS to respond on that appeal by those of us who had gone through that excruciating experience of not having our ads aired and then refunded na lang after.
Mr. Katigbak.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair, Your Honor. Maybe just a quick background on why the spots are normally paid before broadcast. It's really just to help us comply with the COMELEC order to submit all relevant documents, including an official receipt, within 5 days from the signing of the agreement with the political candidate. And just want to make sure that there's no difficulty in issuing the official receipt due to collection issues. But we definitely take note of your suggestion to find a way to make this less painful for the political candidates. And maybe in the next election, we hope to prove that. In 2016 po, one of the pain points of the political candidates was the refund, as you mentioned. But I think in 2019, so far, we haven't received any major complaints given the new policies we implemented. So as we said earlier, we continue to try and improve on our shortcomings, and we hope that in the succeeding elections, we do a better job of things.
Madam Chair, just to follow up, I believe these two gentlemen, I've known Mark Lopez for a long time. We go back high school days, and Carlo is also distant relative of mine, to be honest about it. But I told them may hinanakit. Nilabas ko yung hinanakit ko. Alam niyo yon. And I really poured it out my heart out, and we said maybe in the succeeding elections, this has to change or this must change. And in fairness to them, they're working that out. Madam Chair, my final note on all of this. Tama sinabi po ni our dear colleague, was it Joel? Ako po, pag binuksan mo yung TV ko hindi sa pabor-pabor sa Bisaya or favoritism, when you open my TV in the house, it's ANC. That's all I watch. But without ANC, what am I going to watch? BBC? You know, if it shows 24-hour news or CNN America, I'd like to continue with the programming, and we'd like to see that programming. But we have to take necessary steps so that we do not, continue the practices that we feel as legislators, the unfair practices during election time for these media outlets. So that's all, Madam Chair. As I said, I've already poured my heart out to the management, and I hope that they do the next steps para hindi ito maulit muli kay Presidente, sa akin, kay Senator Recto, kay Senator Gatchalian, and many others in the future. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair,
Wait.
with the permission of Senator Risa, because it's related to the point of Mr.
I think Senator Risa waited patiently already, but are you okay with
Yes,
that?
with
Okay,
her permission
go ahead,
and
go
the
ahead.
permission of the Chair. Thank you. Nabanggit kasi ni Senator Zubiri yung hindi na air ang ads. For the record, kami rin sa 8 Derecho nung nakaraang halalan, milyong pisong halaga ng ads ang hindi na air dahil nga sa proseso. So kung iisipin ng ating mga kababayan na may bias siguro, walang bias sa amin dahil hindi na, and critical sa amin yung huling 10 araw na dapat sana na-air yung ads na yun at baka sakaling nag-iba ang resulta ng halalan, ngunit wala ho kaming magawa. So for the record, nangyari sa amin yan.
At may hinanakit din kami. Pero hindi natin dadalhin sa usapin ng mawawalan ng trabaho ang 11,000 mga kababayan natin. Just for the record, Madam Chairperson.
Okay, before Senator Lisa, I'd like to point out also kasi the majority leader mentioned ANC. TV5 also has a good news arm as well as GMA. But the more... hindi daw 24/7. See, na news. So I guess we need to take note of that. Kailangan natin ng more 24/7 news. So wag bawasan, dagdagan. Senator Lisa.
Thank you, Chair. Una, for the record, kaugnay ng isang tanong ni Chair, I'd also like to point out that black propaganda is also prevalent on Facebook, for one. So perhaps, Madam Chair, Congress could also look into regulation and self-regulation in social media platforms, particularly during elections. And just to clarify, Madam Chair, self-regulation and regulation, not prior restraint, never censorship. Pangalawa ko, I hope that bago matapos itong ating hearing, mabalikan yung tanong namin ni Senator Gatchalian kanina tungkol sa mga PDR. Pati yung yung exact terms niya, and do these actually grant foreigners voting rights. Para sa akin, Madam Chair, mahalaga din itong tanong namin ito dahil ito rin yung isang isyong ginagamit ngayon laban sa Rappler dito sa mga hamon laban sa freedom of the press sa ating bansa. And then sa ABS-CBN muli, narinig ko namang malinaw yung pagsagot nyo sa tanong na totoo bang tumanggi kayong i-air yung isang political ad ni Presidente. So salamat sa paglilinaw na hindi nyo in-air pero hindi nyo na-air. At na-appreciate ko yung pagiging bukas nyo sa mga mungkahin ni Majority Leader how to keep on improving that situation moving forward. Na publicly state na rin ni Presidente na mas maigi na yung mga may-ari ng ABS-CBN ay ibenta nyo na lang yung kumpanya. Na-approach na ba kayo ng may anumang alok na bilihin na nga yung kumpanya ninyo?
Madam Chair, Your Honor, we have not received any formal proposal or formal offer to acquire ABS.
Alright. At totoo ba na ang ABS-CBN ang pinaka matanda o luma o unang television broadcaster sa Southeast Asia?
Yes po, after Japan.
After Japan. So pangalawa po kayo. Ano pong pinaplano ng kumpanya ninyo kung yung franchise ninyo ay hindi i-renew ng Kongreso? If for the first time in your decades bilang pangalawang broadcaster di lang sa bansa, sa rehiyon, kung hindi kayo pagbigyan ng Kongreso?
Your Honor, ang layunin po ng ABS-CBN ay magbigay serbisyo sa lahat ng Pilipino. At kung hindi namin magawa using our broadcast facilities, we will try to find alternative ways to continue providing the service.
Alright. Salamat, Madam Chair. Moving to yung huling tanong ko sa ABS-CBN tungkol sa labor issues na ni-raise namin ng aming chair ng Senate Committee on Labor na si Senator Joel at pati ni Senate President Pro Tempore, Senator Recto, kanina pa. So pinasubmit po kayo ng chair ng mga datos, pati na yung bakit napakakaunting union members, bakit may substantial number ng mga empleyado o manggagawa sa network ay contractual pa rin o project-based pa rin. Just as a last question sa inyo po sa issue ito, pwede ko po kasing itanong na hindi ba disingenuous sa panig ng network na ngayon na magpakita ng concern sa kagalingan ng mga manggagawa niyo ngayon na binabantaan kayo ng non-renewal ng franchise nyo. Pwede ko rin itanong na nasan sana itong concern na ito nung yung issue ay job security. Pero tanungin ko na lang another way, na moving forward, kung ibigay naman ng Kongreso ang renewal ng franchise nyo o sa ibang paraan na tinukoy na ni na Secretary Guevara, moving forward, paano pwedeng yung bagong franchise nyo, yung renewed franchise nyo, ay maging mas pro-worker, lalong-lalo na sa issue ng security of tenure?
Your Honor, siguro in the last 25 years of this current franchise, sana po naipakita namin sa aming mga empleyado na mahal namin sila. And I think the fact that they call ABS-CBN their family, kapamilya, pamilya, is a sign that we have treated them well, and there's a genuine love for the company that they work for. I will agree with you that for so long as ABS-CBN can afford to do it, we will continue to find ways to better take care of our employees, but it has to be done in a way that allows us to sustain the help and the caring that we give them. We have a unique industry in the sense that the programs that we create don't last forever. And we need to make sure that we are committed to the two things together. One, that we take care as much as we can of our employees. But two, that we do it in a way that allows us to sustain the care that we give them.
I hear you, Madam Chair, pero sabi nga ng BIR kanina, sa loob lang ng 4 na taon, nakapagbayad din naman kayo ng 14 billion pesos in taxes. So baka naman hindi ganong kalaki aabot kung mas mapagbigyan pa yung mga agenda na dine-negotiate sa inyo ng inyong union, at lalo na kung mas maraming manggagawa ninyo ay maging miyembro ng mga union na iyon. So in the same, ganun din naman yung ugali ko, Madam Chair. Moving forward, I will look forward na ihahain sa amin dito sa Kongreso ang pag-renew ng franchise ninyo. Pero may kasabay po niyan para sa akin kasing mabigat. Yung higit na pagbibigay daan dun sa agenda ng inyong mga union. So, thank you to ABS-CBN, Madam Chair. May I also ask questions dun sa mga manggagawa po ng ABS-CBN. Sino po bang sasagot? Si Mr. Liboon ba? Ng NABU?
Sir John Balinanueva, President of ABS-CBN Employees Union. As part of NABU Vice President, ako po yung magsasalita regarding sa employees, not only on ABS-CBN, the whole picture of broadcast industry, na yun din po yung aming maraming pong salamat sa mga senators kasi nabigyan po kami ng pagkakataon na makapagsalita, na maraming salamat doon sa mga unions na binubuo ng federasyon namin, ng TV5, GMA, ABS, IBC13. Maraming salamat po sa management kasi nakakausap namin sila na ibibigay yung mga tamang dapat ibigay sa empleyado. So minsan may mga, sabi nga natin, yung imperfect na kumpanya na naayos naman po sa Department of Labor. So natutugunan kami sa mga ganung bagay. Pero siyempre, hindi po mawawala yung may nagre-reklamo. So
doon po tayo tumutok, Mr. Liboon. Ano po yung sa pagkakaalam ninyo, ano pong biggest concern ng mga kasama nyo sa NABU na ABS-CBN workers kaugnay nitong delay sa pag-renew ng bagong prangkisa ng ABS? Ano pong biggest concern nila?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yung pong tungkol sa empleyado po ng ABS-CBN sa Employees Union na pag-uusapan po namin, malaking bagay po na dapat po i-renew po talaga yung franchise ng ABS-CBN kasi po bilang manggagawa, hindi lang po sa buong broadcast industry, dapat po ma-renew kasi pag nawalan po ng trabaho ang trabador ng ABS-CBN, in relation din po sa amin bilang mga manggagawa, yung pamilya po namin ang umaasa po sa amin na may karapatan din na dapat mabuhay ng maayos para po sa network. Maraming salamat po.
Salamat, Mr. Ibon. Meron lang akong huling follow-up question sa inyo. Kung sakali naman yung kabaliktaran yung mangyari, na yung prangkisa maibigay sa iba, paano makatutulong ang Senado para i-assert yung karapatan ng mga manggagawa sa korporasyon ng mga kasamahan nyo sa ABS-CBN Union? Or kahit pa yung best possible scenario sa imahinasyon ng marami o ng iba na ma-renew yung prangkisa ng ABS-CBN. Paano makatutulong ang Kongreso? Parehong tanong ko kina Mr. Nepomuceno kanina. Moving forward, paano kami makatulong o makasigurado na anumang prangkisa na ma-issue ay maging mas pro-worker din or maging pro-worker na prangkisa?
Salamat po. Siguro po kung in the near future magkaroon ng magandang maibigay man yung prangkisa, hindi naman po sa ABS-CBN o para po sa lahat, para mo makatulong sa yung ating mga mahal na senador at congressman, baka po pwede pong maisama na ang pagbibigay po ng franchise magkaroon po ng security of tenure ang mga empleyado, magkaroon po ng karapatang makapagtayo ng union at irespeto po yung aming collective bargaining agreement.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Liboon. And of course, naririnig nung aming Senate Committee on Labor Chair yung sinabi nyo. Madam Chair, may I also just request if the Chair could ask the Philippine Competition Commission para sa kanilang position paper kung meron, kung papaano kung sakaling non-renewal ng prangkisa makaaapekto sa kompetisyon sa loob ng broadcast sector. Maraming salamat, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair,
Senator Villanueva.
may I just point out something, Madam Chair? First of all, I'd like to point out, and Madam Chair, you would attest to this, every time we pass a franchise law in the Senate, this representation would always put a provision that they will be committed to comply with labor laws. I think we have been doing that. It's just that I got a text from Secretary Bello of the Department of Labor and Employment. I would just like to ask the comment of ABS-CBN and perhaps the Bureau of Internal Revenue. I was given this figure based on the inspection of DOLE. ABS-CBN has regular employees 2,481, probationary employees 95, fixed-term employees 49, casual employees 3, regular seasonal employees 1898, or a total of 4,526 employees. And this includes, Madam Chair, yung casual and probationary, and I think we tackled kanina yung project-based. I just wanted to get the figures correct because we were given kanina 11,071 employees, Madam Chair. And I think if ABS-CBN can attest to this, because this is the reported nung inspection na ginawa ng Department of Labor and Employment. And we can also ask BIR if they have the same figures or nag-jive ba yung figures kanina, kasi nung bilanggit ng ABS-CBN, we didn't hear anything from BIR, no?
I think we've discussed the labor numbers earlier, and I was asking for the exact designation. How many? 4,006. Siyempre sinasabi 11,000 kasi nanganganak-nganak yan. But kahit sa GMA siguro, TV5, maybe you can also verify. Hindi na naman lahat permanent employees. Kaya siguro moving forward, we'd also like to get the details on the other networks.
We'll wait, Madam Chair. It's just that also we wanted to point out, meron po tayong 13-month pay law, meron po SSS at Pag-ibig. Because when we talk about it a while ago, I have some friends texting me na, ba't kami walang Pag-ibig, ba't walang SS. So we just wanted to make sure that it's clear, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Okay, just some matters to discuss. This is a very heated discussion, and I don't blame my colleagues, sometimes even myself, for interjecting. On the other hand, this is the order of arrival, just so we can set it for the record. Senator De La Rosa was here first, Senator Tolentino, then Senator Pacquiao, Senator Angara, Senator Villanueva, Senator Binay, Senator Drilon, Pangilinan, Hontiveros, Zubiri, Lapid, Gatchalian, Recto. So I think now it's just fair to give the floor to Senator Angara. But if, with the indulgence of Senator Angara, or would you like to ask your question now? Because Director Joel Lamangan of the Directors Guild has asked to be excused.
Pasalitin na po natin, Madam Chair. Pasalitin na natin si Direk.
Direct Joel, kung meron po kayo dadagdag bago po kayo umalis para sa... Ano pong project ninyo?
magpa-plug po dito.
Pwede rin. Tulungan natin ang industriya.
Meron po kaming ginagawa. May ginagawa po ako sa ABS, yung I Want nila, yung Beauty Queens. Katatapos ko lang po ng isang pelikula sa Viva. Yung, ano nga? Title?
Ano bang title nito?
Hindi tayo pwede, yung po ang title.
Ay, ganun ba? Okay. Eh ngayon po, para anong proyekto yung pupuntahan ninyo?
Hindi tayo pwede po, nagpo-postpone po ako ngayon.
Sa BIPA ka ngayon. O sige po, direct.
Marami pong salamat at nagkaroon kami ng pagkakataong makahalubilo kayo. Ang Directors Guild of the Philippines po ay narito. Ayun po sila lahat nakahalera doon upang aming bigyang pansin ang isang nakalulungkot na bagay na nangyayari sa atin. Ako po'y nalulungkot dahil sa pagpupulong na ito ay ating dinidiscuss ang pagpatay sa isang plataforma na naglulunsad ng kalayaan sa pananalita, kalayaan sa pamamayag, at kalayaan sa pagpapayag. Nalulungkot ako na dumating tayo sa ganoong panahon. Sa halip na ating pag-usapan kung papaano papalamanin, kung papaano payayamanin ang mga plataforma na maglulugsad ng kalayaang ito, discuss natin ang pagkitil at pagpatay dito. Hindi ba? Yun ay kalungkot-lungkot. Kaming mga direktor ng pelikula, telebisyon at tanghalan, ang aming material na pinagkukunan ng aming kwento ay ang buhay ng tao. Ang araw-araw na katotohanan na nakikita namin sa lansangan, ang araw-araw na katotohanan nakikita namin mula sa aming pagagising hanggang sa aming pagtulog, yung ang batayan ng aming sinasalaysay na kwento na aming isinishare sa daan-daang mga manonood. Ang pinamakalawak na plataforma ng aming obra ay ang ABS-CBN. Ang anumang pagkitil sa prangkisa ng ABS-CBN ay malawak na pagyurak sa karapatan ng pagpapahayag at pamamayag at karapatan ng malayang pananalita. Kailangang hindi tayo gumawa ng mga paraan upang sagkangan ang kalayaang ito. Kung mayroong mga hindi magandang sinasabi o mayroong mga katiwaliang naganap o ginagawa ang plataforma, meron tayong korte upang pag-usapan ang mga kahinaang ito. Hindi ang pagpatay o pagkitil, kundi ang pagbibigay ng due process upang marinig sa korte ang kahinaan o kalakasan ng sinasabi nating plataforma ng paglulunsad ng kalayaang ito. Sa aming mga direktor, napaka-importante ng plataforma sa paglulunsad ng kalayaang ito. Tayo'y demokratiko. Nakaukit sa ating saligang batas ang karapatang ito ng pamamahayag at pagpapahayag. Kailangan ito'y ating pinaprotektahan at ginagawaan ng paraan upang yumabong at yumaman at mapanatili sapagkat ito ang kaluluwa ng demokrasya. Ang aming istorya, ang aming kwento ay tinatawag nating artistikong ekspresyon. Ang artistikong ekspresyon ng pelikula, ng dula, ng mga panulat, ng visual art at ng lahat ng iba pang sining ay kaluluwa ng bayan. Kung hindi babigyan ng pagkakataong itong marinig at makita ng buong Pilipinas at ng ating mga kababayan sa ibang bansa, kalungkot-lungkot. Pag nawala ang napalaking plataforma, nakakatakot kung magagawa ito sa ABS-CBN. Maaaring magawa ito sa maliliit pang may prangkisa. Sino na ang magkukwento ng istorya natin? Baka dumating ang panahon ng istorya natin kukwento na ng Beijing Broadcast Company, ng HBO, ng CNN. Sana wag dumating ang pagkakataong yon. No, ako'y naimbitahan dito upang iprepresenta ang aking DGPI. Una, nagdadalawang isip ako Kasi matagal na akong punta ng punta sa mga ganitong pagtitipon before. May higit 2 dekada na akong laban ng laban para sa kalayaan sa pananalita. kalayaan sa pamamayag. Ngayon lamang ako naka-attend ng isang pagpupulong ng papatay sa prangkisa ng pinapalawak na plataporma ng paglulunsad ng kalayaang ito. Isang malungkot na katotohanan ito sa ngayon sa atin. Sana sa mga darating pang pagpupulong, sa mga padarating pang mga ganitong pagtitipon ng mga kagalang-galang na senador at ng mga kagalang-galang ng mga taong nagre-representa ng iba't ibang sektor sa pagpapahayag, ang susunod na pulong ay tungkol sa pagpapaunlad ng kalayaang ito. Hindi sa pagkitil o pagpatay. Maraming salamat po.
Direk, maraming salamat. Makata talaga si Direk Lamangan.
Hindi po.
Meron naman talagang, syempre meron kang pakiramdam dito sa mga nangyayari dahil alam ko matagal ka na rin nasa lansangan na nakikipaglaban, hindi lamang para sa issue na to, kundi para sa iba't ibang mga bagay pa. In line with that, again, before Senator Angara, I would like to hear, in his personal capacity and not as a personality of TV5. Kasi alam mo, may mga nakakarating sa akin, bakit? Kung nawala naman ng ABS, hindi naman nangangahulugan na walang freedom of expression. Meron pa namang ibang mga network na lumalabas. Whether or not that's true, I would like to hear from other practitioners their view also on the matter. Do they think that as a fellow practitioner, they feel that the alleged violations of ABS is grave enough for them not to have the privilege for a renewal or for franchise or for whatever other sentiments they may have. Mr. Alampay is very much respected in the field of journalism, and I'd like to hear your opinion on the matter.
Okay. Maraming salamat po. I'll just clarify again my capacity at maraming salamat po for reiterating what I said. But just to be very clear, I am not only not speaking for TV5 or any company. I cannot, even if I wanted to, because I am not, I do not hold any executive position. I do not have any regular positions anymore in these media companies. I'm no longer editor-in-chief of Business World. I no longer have a regular position with TV5. I have my own independent company now. And as far as Signal TV is concerned, I am just a talent and an anchor. And therefore, as you said po, I speak in my personal capacity. I've been a journalist for 30 years. Right now, I am an anchor on One News. Para lang po malaman ni Senator Subiri, One News po 24/7. Napakagandang channel po niyan. Halos tumatapat na po sa INC yan.
Wala yata sa cable network nila eh.
Opo, kasi nasa Signal Cable po yun. Isa rin pong cable company na napakaganda rin.
Pwedeng mabigyan ng Senado noon na hindi na lang.
Opo.
Okay.
No, but in all seriousness, thank you. I just want to proceed from where the question was coming from earlier with regards to the ads in question that were aired. Even if I were still part of these organizations, I will just have to defer and say that that has never been in my pay grade. I have never been in any position. That is as far as I could appreciate, a transactional question between the candidates and ABS-CBN, and I have never been in such a position to vet or to gatekeep commercial or paid for ads. Beyond that, I am a journalist for more than 30 years, reporter, editor. I've had stints as publisher, and I can speak only to the realities of having to make editorial calls. At ito po yung isang bagay na sana naiintindihan ng ating mga kababayan, simula sa ating mga liderato, pati sa mga mamamayan na nanonood, nagbabasa. Ang mga periodista po, araw-araw, kailangan magbigay ng pagpapasya. Kung ito ba ay nararapat ilabas, ito ba ay lumilihis sa kung anumang patakaran, labis ba to? O kahit na nalalapit sa mga tanong na meron ba masasaktan dito, meron ba ditong paglalabis, sa kabilang banda, nandun din po tayo sa pag-iisip na pero nandiyan ang saligang batas na nagsasabing may may kalayaan sa pamamahayag, na ang bawat Pilipino ay dapat nating tulungan na matutong maghayag na walang takot at walang pangamba. At nandun na rin po yung kaakibat hindi lang kalayaan, pati yung responsibilidad na oo, may kalayaan ka. Pero may silbi ba to sa ating bayan? May silbi ba to sa ating mamamayan? At araw-araw po, at sa bawat storya, in fact, sa bawat storya na hahayaan nating mailabas dyan, na maihayag, na hindi lang bigkasin, kundi mailabas sa dyaryo o mai-ere sa broadcast airwaves or mailabas sa digital webpage or whatever, we make a decision based on all of these competing realities. We want to be responsible. We know that our freedom is not absolute. We know that we can both damage and contribute to the public discourse. Pero ang dapat maintindihan ng mga tao ay yung responsibilidad na yon ay hindi namin kailanman minamaliit o binabaliwala. Mabigat po ito dahil unang-una bukod sa aming pagmamahal sa aming ginagawa, and nandyan din on a very basic level all the agencies that we will have to face every day. There are the regulatory agencies, especially for broadcasting. On the business side, we have to face the SEC, we have to face the BIR. Kung sa broadcasting, pati MTRCB. Pagdating ng eleksyon, pati ang COMELEC, kailangan kang managot. These are all things we have to weigh. On the other side of it, there are people who say na lahat kami nasasaktan at marami kayo nasasaktan. Totoo po yan. And therefore, lihitimo rin po yung tanong na kailangan ba tayo mag-isip ng batas para kahit papano hindi maiwasan na yung merong masasaktan or kailangan ba natin para mas patas. But the question and the real dilemma for society boils down to a simple question. Sino po magsasabi kung ano ang responsable? Sino po magsasabi kung ano ang tama? Sino po magsasabi kung ano ang nagmalabis? Sino po magsasabi na ayan, tama lang yan? Sa mga mamamayan po, parati kong pinapaiwatig, pati sa mga kaibigan ko.
Mr. Alampay, can you get to the point of ano ang pananaw mo nga dito sa nagiging diskusyon natin, hindi lamang dito sa rhetorical questions na binabalik, ano po dapat natin tahakin?
Yung dito po sa ABS-CBN, I proceed from the other side of it. I think ABS-CBN has proven its citizenship, it's proven its value, and certainly for all the criticisms that they have, which has been levied against all other competitors and every other media player, I think timbang naman po na dapat lang mailabas at ma-renew ang franchise ng ABS-CBN. Sa kabilang banda po ay kung hindi po ma-renew yan, base na rin po sa lahat ng konteksto na labas. Kasama na dyan ang banta ng Pangulo, kasama na dyan ang batikos ng lahat ng mga ibang mga politiko, ay kung hindi po yan maibibigay, ay that will have a chilling effect on media, on journalism, on press freedom in the Philippines.
If you feel that if their franchise is canceled, it will actually affect other media outlets?
I feel right now there is already a chilling effect. By virtue of the fact within ABS-CBN, I can imagine and I can only respect all my colleagues inside ABS-CBN. Kahit sabihin mong walang censorship, it's impossible for you not to think, not of your own faith. Maraming mga periodista, I believe them when they say na wala akong pakialam sa trabaho ko. Kung kailangan ako tanggalin ako. Kung kailangan ako mabaril ako. But pero yung mga kasama po natin, when they are thinking, hindi lang yung buhay ko ang piniisip ko ngayon damay ang 11,000 jobs. That has a very real chilling effect. And I am sure that goes through the minds of all our colleagues, not just in ABS-CBN, but now by virtue of the instruments that have been brought to this debate, PDRs, the whole question of the franchise no longer being in the realm exclusively of Congress, but now being brought to court. The provisional franchise that is now being floated, which will have the effect, I believe, of basically taking the power and the mandate for however indeterminate a time away from Congress and transferring it via the NTC to the executive over an unforeseen length of future. I think all of this creates, as Senator Drilon said, a Damocles sword hanging above every media practitioner in the Philippines.
Thank you, Mr. Alampay. We really appreciate also your views on the matter. Very intelligent views, technical views, but it weighs a lot, particularly because you're a media practitioner yourself and you belong to another network. But this is your personal view, just for the record. Senator Angara, thank you for your patience, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Salamat po sa pag-recognize sa atin. Nabanggit na po yung effect sa freedom of speech, freedom of expression. Pero naniniwala ako mas malaki pa siguro yung epekto sa ekonomiya. Nabanggit ni Senator Joel yung epekto at Senator Risa yung epekto po sa trabaho. Pero I think what people ang kailangan maintindihan ng mga tao, Madam Chair, is yung ABS-CBN, isang malaking korporasyon yan, isang malaking pilar ng kanilang industriya. Pero pag tiningnan mo po yung ekonomiya, marami pong dependent sa kanila because ang dependent sa kanila ay hindi lamang yung artistang ini-employ nila, yung mga nakikita po natin tulad nila Senator Lapid sa TV, pero there are other industries which are also dependent. There's a huge advertising industry, and of course the advertising is a venue for other manufacturers, di ba? Nagbebenta po sila ng kanilang produkto and they reach a bigger public through ABS. Ang tanong ko nga, sayang wala po yung NEDA dito, wala po yung DTI, wala po yung DOLE. Kasi sila talaga yung mag-explica sa atin, Madam Chair, kung ano po yung epekto sa kanilang ekonomiya. But nonetheless, I want to start off by quoting from a Philippine Star article where they interviewed NEDA Secretary Ernesto Pernia. At sabi niya, from an economic point of view, Pernia said that stopping the operations of the network by not renewing its franchise would get in the way of promoting diversity in the economy and fostering competition. Promoting diversity and fostering competition. Yung diversity, yan yung sinasabi ni Direk Joel. Yung sino na ang magkakwento ng mga kwentong buhay ng ating mga kababayan. Pero yung fostering competition, Madam Chair, meron tayong hanging question kay SEC Commissioner Amatong. Could we follow up on that? Kasi nabasa ko, kapag nag-grant po yung quo warranto petition ng Solicitor General sa Korte Suprema, ang maapektuhan ay hindi lang ang ABS-CBN. Tama ho ba ito, Madam Chair? Can we ask Commissioner Amatong?
Madam Chair, Mr. Senator, Your Honors, it's difficult to speculate on what the impact would be of the Supreme Court ruling, and it would also depend on how the court would rule and on what grounds the court would cite for its ruling, either way. But I would agree with you, Your Honor. ABS-CBN is a listed company with a large market cap. Perhaps later, when I can go through our presentation, we can give you an idea of.
I think we postponed it for a while. I think ganito na lang ho, Commissioner, Madam Chair. Kapag sinabi ng Korte Suprema, yung depositary receipts, bawal na yan. Because they've had a pronouncement previously na pwede yan eh. Kaya ang mga kumpanya, it's not only ABS-CBN, correct me if I'm wrong, aren't the other media networks, won't they be affected by this? At yung ibang malalaking kumpanya na nakalista po sa ating stock exchange, hindi ba apektado rin sila dito? Could you explain that to us, Commissioner?
Thank you, Your Honor. That is correct. So it is not only ABS-CBN that has made use of the Philippine Depository Receipt Vehicle, or the PDR. There are other media outlets that have made use of PDRs. And perhaps more importantly, depending on grounds. It's difficult to speculate, Your Honor, no? But depending on how the court will rule on the PDR, other listed companies or other companies that have foreign investors but are engaged in activities which are nationalized may also be affected.
So they will have to follow the ruling also because apektado sila, hindi ba? So magugulo yung ating corporate sector, hindi ba, Commissioner?
Mahirap po mag-speculate on the outcome of the case, but...
You're not speculating. I'm giving you an actual situation where the court rules that the PDR is no longer a valid a way of owning the corporate equity. And sinabi na you have to divest in order to meet the national requirements. Malaki ang epekto niyan, hindi ba, Commissioner?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. We've established that no sa competition. How about can I ask Commissioner Bernabe of the Philippine Competition Commission? Kasi kayo, ang trabaho nyo sa PCC, that's a relatively new law, is bantayan na walang unfair competition, walang anti-competitive practices para hindi matamaan yung consumer. Ano ang magiging epekto po sa consumer kapag nawala po yung isa sa pinakamalaking player sa industriyang mass media, Commissioner?
Thank you, Your Honor, Madam Chair. In response to Senator Angaro's question, the consumers will obviously have less choice insofar as available newscasters and programs are concerned. Also, perhaps to address Senator Ontiveros' point earlier about a possible position paper, we will prepare and comply with your request. Just some very preliminary numbers, if I may. Currently, 89% of market share for television is controlled by the Big Four: ABS-CBN, GMA, TV5, and 9 Media. Now, ABS-CBN controls anywhere from 31% to 44% of market share. GMA7 controls anywhere from 34% to 46% of market share. It depends on what source you use. Traditionally, ABS-CBN, I believe, uses Cantor Media, and GMA7 uses Nielsen ratings. Now, if ABS-CBN were to close down, that 31 to 44% that they hold as market share will gravitate in proportion to what you already see now as existing market share. So presumably, if GMA7 controls 34 to 46%, let's just average it out at 40%. The market share of ABS-CBN will, to the extent of 15% of its current shares, gravitate towards Channel 7. So there will be an increase of roughly, on average, 40% to 55% market share. In other jurisdictions, an increase in market share of at least 10% raises a red flag in terms of competition concerns. Obviously, we will have to assess it on a case-to-case basis in the context of the Philippine market. We cannot make any judgment or conclusions at this point. But suffice it to say that other jurisdictions would tend to see it as something which might have an effect on competition, which is a cause for concern. Of course, if ABS-CBN, as suggested earlier, is bought by a non-existing player in the market, of course, the effect on competition will simply be that someone else is stepping into their shoes, so there's no pernicious effect on the market. Again, the caveat here is these are very preliminary numbers based on cursory examination of data, but again, a 10% increase in market share is something that we will have to be cautious about from a competition perspective.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Bernabe, is a, let's say, the first hypothetical situation, yung sinabi po ninyo, nabawasan po ng players sa isang industriya, is that good for the economy?
The Commission always tries to advocate for more players in the market because it offers, first of all, choice. Secondly, when you have more choice, then there is better opportunity for lower costs of services provided, in this case, in terms of
cost for advertisers, cost for manufacturers who use this advertising and marketing services. And third, Choice also offers innovation. The more players you have in the market, the more they try to outdo one another, and innovation always redounds to the benefit of consumers who will have the opportunity for better quality of service. Again, without prejudging what will be the outcome of the deliberations of the Senate and the Congress in terms of what will be in the ultimate public interest. But those are just from a competition lens.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Hindi ba ang equivalent nito kapag sa umiinom tayo ng beer, biglang bukas, kunyari sinara ang ABS-CBN, bukas, wala na tayong iinuming San Miguel beer, tinanggal sa merkado, o kaya tinanggal po yung Globe o Smart cellphone sa merkado. Hindi ba yan ang equivalent itong pag sinara po ang ABS-CBN?
San Miguel beer has undoubtedly a dominant share of the market.
Just illustrating, Commissioner, that's in effect what's going to happen, di ba?
It is similar.
Similar, di ba? Yan ang magiging, from an economic standpoint, di ba? Pag sinara po yung ABS-CBN, parang tinanggalan natin ng choice yung ating kababayan. Hindi ho ba yun? Ganang mangyari?
That's correct.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Bernabe. Sayang, Madam Chair, wala po yung NED to talk, or DTI to talk about the economic effects. But maybe we can ask the ABS-CBN team, alam ko gutom na sila, hindi pa naglalunch yan. But maybe they can tell us what are the industries which depend on ABS-CBN, Madam Chair.
Yes, please elaborate. Kasi hindi lang naman artista, director, crew members, may mga nirerentahan kayong kung ano-anong mga bagay.
Hindi, yung gumagawa ng trailer, ma'am, di ba? Yung producer ng, yung mga cameraman, yung, di ba may mga, there are smaller industries which are dependent on the larger economic actor.
Say, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Your Honor. The industries that associate themselves with ABS include, as mentioned earlier, the advertisers. It includes people who supply us with equipment, and it includes another 6,000 third-party agencies like our security guards, our janitors, who also rely on ABS for their livelihood. That's on top of the 11,000 employees that we were mentioning earlier.
Nabanggit ni Direk Joel, Madam Chair, na yung trabaho ng ABS, yung kwento ng mga tao. Pero ang naririnig pa lang natin, Madam Chair, yung kwento ng kumpanya. Wala pa tayong naririnig na kwento ng mga empleyado. Ang nakikita natin mga empleyado dito ng ABS-CBN, siguro naman hindi magugutom bukas kapag sinara po ang ABS-CBN. Pero ang tanong ko po, meron bang ganong mga empleyado na maybe we can ask the Human Resources person in charge, meron pang mga minimum wage employees ang ABS-CBN? Because alam naman natin kapag minimum wage ang isang empleyado, kapag nawalan po siya ng trabaho, medyo mahirapan siya sa darating na mga linggo para pakainin ang kanyang mga anak at pamilya.
Madam Chair, Your Honor, generally we pay above the minimum wage, but to respond to your question, Your Honor, the answer is yes. If ABS-CBN is shut down, the ability of our employees and anybody who continues to work and engage with the company, their ability to sustain their lifestyle and sustain a level of livelihood that takes care of their basic needs will be very greatly compromised, Your Honor.
Maybe you could give us details. Ilan yun? Maybe yung union, pwede tanungin din natin. Ilan ba talagang kapit sa patalim dyan sa kumpanya? Para malaman talaga ng publiko at saka ng mga senador kung ano talaga yung nakasalalay dito.
Actually, may dadagdag lang ako. Meron din akong narinig nun sa mga empleyado, no? Kunyari, anong mangyayari kung natigil ng end of March? Ang enrollment ng pasukan malapit na din. Maraming dumidepende sa pang-araw-araw na pangangailangan nila. Hindi lang sa kahit na anong negosyo. Kaya nga, kinakailangan may karampatang puwang para naman ma-resolusyonan na agad ano pa talagang mangyari. Mahirap yung nakabitin. Meron pa bang...
Yes, we want to ask the union. Yung union ng mga ABS-CBN employees, baka i-explain nyo sa mga senador, sa publiko, ano yung magiging epekto sa buhay ng inyong mga empleyado kung nagsara yung kumpanya?
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, yung Union President po ng ABS-CBN is in the gallery. If it's okay with you, pwede natin siya ipatawag.
Pwede din siyang manumpa muna ulit.
Madam Chairperson, while he's coming down. Yun na ba? Okay.
Ito na. Ano pong pangalan ninyo?
Good morning po. Ako po si John Villanueva, Union President.
Tumayo po kayo para manumpa po bago kami magpatuloy.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in these proceedings?
Yes, Madam.
Thank you, sir.
Sa tanong ni Senator Angara, ano ang mangyayari sa mga ibang empleyado katulad ng mga miyembro ng union ninyo kung sakasakali o ano yung mga naririnig ninyo na mga hinanaing nila ngayon?
Una po, nangangamba po kami lahat ng empleyado. Sa araw-araw po na lumilipas yung panahon, torture po talaga. Torture po, torture.
Bakit torture? Dahil, paliwanag niyo, sir. Bakit torture? Yung sinabi ni Chairman, mamay-enroll pa ninyo yung mga anak ninyo. Makakakain pa kayo bukas. Baka naman torture dahil magsasama kayo ni Mrs. araw-araw. Hindi naman. Joke lang. Joke lang.
Senator Sani, yan ba'y pakahulugan ng nararamdaman din?
Yung question yun, phone-in question ni Senator Bato po yun.
Yun po, nangangamba kami kasi kung wala pong prangkisa ang ABS, kasama po kami mga manggagawa na mawalan din ng trabaho. Yun po, umunlad po ang buhay ko, ng pamilya ko, at lahat ng mga miyembro dahil po sa ABS-CBN. Kaya po nangangamba lahat na kung sakaling hindi mabibigyan ng prangkisa ang ABS. Yun lamang po.
Madam Chair, may tanong ko lang sa kanya kung may kumpiyansa sila kung nagsara po yung kumpanya na makakakuha silang trabaho sa ibang lugar o ibang kumpanya.
Doon po sa tanong niyo, Mr. Senator, sa tingin ko kasi even yung ibang istasyon po ay puno na rin po ng mga manggagawa. Sa tingin ko, may hirapan na rin pong kaming kumuha ng trabaho sa ibang kumpanya.
Last question na po, Madam Chair, to give chance to the others. Dun sa ating kaibigan o kasama galing sa BIR, nakalimutan ko po yung kanyang pangalan, pero siya yung head ng large taxpayer, sir. Yung sinabi niyo pong binabayad ng ABS-CBN, yun ay corporate income tax o kasama po dun yung value added tax o VAT, yung DST, doc stamp tax, tapos yung nabasa ko pala, may 3% franchise tax pa palang binabayad ang mga media entities on top of the corporate income tax. So kasama ho ba yun sa binanggit niyo pong numero?
Before I start, sir, I would like to clarify the question, the answer I made on the question of the Honorable Senator Pangilinan a while ago regarding the artists, the payment made to independent artists. By the way, part of the income payment made by ABS-CBN to these independent artists are already withheld and remitted by the ABS-CBN, and that's not the end of it. These independent artists are likewise, in addition to the taxes withheld to them, they are required to pay the VAT that is due them. Likewise, the income tax that is due on the income payment received by them. Well, with respect to the question of Honorable Senator Angara, yes, what I mentioned a while ago is are the composed of various taxes paid by the ABS-CBN, which includes income tax, bank withholding on compensation, the
Franchise tax
the
kasama?
expanded-
Franchise
expanded.
tax yung 3% kasama na yun?
I'll check on that, sir.
Yeah,
I'll
okay.
check on that.
At saka, siguro yung real property tax na binabayad sa mga local governments, hindi pa kasama.
Hindi pa kasama, sir.
Hindi pa kasama yun. Oo, malaki yun. Oo.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
on that point,
I'll give way to Senator Pangilinan.
on that point, how much is the city government of Quezon City earning from your real property taxes, your permits, your fees, business licenses, etc.?
Wala ho ata yung city government. Baka pwede natin maimbita, Madam Chair, next time.
Meron sila.
Maybe if the company has the figures.
Ay, number one taxpayer ata kayo ng Quezon City.
Alam ko na-
Top
Top taxpayer, yes.
Senator Angara, alam ko nagsalita na din si Mayor Joy Belmonte ukol dito na sinusuporta niya, syempre malaking kawalan din sa Quezon City, pero yung exact amount napakahalagang malaman rin.
Yes.
So hindi
Actually,
po
ang
natin
tanong ko, Madam Chair, bago ko klinaro kung ano yung kasama dun sa binigay na numero, magkano talagang mawawala sa gobyerno? Ano yung kabubuan na mawawala sa gobyerno taon-taon kung magsara ang kumpanyang ABS-CBN? Can our friend from the BIR give us the figure? Kasi hindi pa kasama yung ibang taxes dun eh. So, idadagdag po natin yun. Pero sa 2019, sir, magkano po yung collection natin sa ABS-CBN in terms of national taxes? May binigay kayong 14.398 billion for corporate taxes, tapos may nabanggit rin pong 8.59 billion. Pero hindi po per year yun eh. Accumulated figures po yun. So ano yung 2019 figure po?
Sir, for 2019, sir, hindi pa, sir, kasama dito ang income tax, which is to be filed this April 15.
When you say income tax, individual income tax o corporate income
No, sir,
tax?
the corporate income tax.
Oh, hindi pa kasama ang corporate income tax dyan. Because it's April, right, the filing. Opo.
Yes, sir.
Yung 2018 na lang siguro. Bigay mo yung 2018 figure. Nakasama na yung corporate income tax.
2.8 billion, sir.
2018.
Yes, sir.
2.8 is cumulated corporate income tax and other national internal revenue taxes.
Yes, sir.
Kasama na yung franchise tax.
We'll check kung...
You're not sure? Okay. Sige. Pero definitely hindi kasama yung real property
Definitely.
taxation. Kasama na dyan yung binayad ng mga... kasi meron... Yung iba, wini-withhold yung ano. Pero yun na yung kabuuan ng tax payment nila. Pero yung mga ibang matataas na opisyal na hindi lang may individual income tax, maaring may tax din na nabayaran, hindi ho ba?
Yes, sir.
So, with confidence, siguro masasabi nyo mas malaki pa sa 2.5 or 2.8 billion ang binabayaran ng ABS-CBN at ng kanyang mga empleyado sa gobyerno.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Before we continue, I'd like to, Secretary Guevara has to leave for another meeting. On the other hand, I'd like to thank him for his presence and for clarifying a lot of issues for us. Your presence, as I mentioned, is key here. So if we have any follow-ups, we hope that we can still...
Mr. Chair, Madam Chair,
Uh,
just a question for Secretary Guevara. Just a
Okay,
quick question
go ahead.
before he leaves. And maybe later on the real property tax being paid. But kay Secretary Guevara, are you familiar with DOJ Opinion Number 1 Series of 2018, dated 11 June 2018, requested by the NTC? No?
I think that's the opinion requested regarding the conditional access system or CAS.
Yes, and because this refers to the issue of the KDO, the what is K? Kapamilya.
Pay-per-view.
Yes. The NTC initially did not, or opposed, or was not in favor of the ABS-CBN releasing or implementing the KBO sales or program, and then sought an opinion on the DOJ, from the DOJ. Hindi po ba tama po yun? And what was this opinion? I think the position of the NTC, Madam Chairperson, was that hindi dapat magkaroon ng separate na programang KBO ang ABS-CBN. At dahil dito, hiniling ng NTC sa DOJ ang opinion. And may we have the, for the record, what was the opinion of the DOJ?
The request for opinion, Senator Pangilinan, was not specific to a particular broadcast company. It was a general query on whether or not the standard wording of franchises, fairly uniform wording for franchises, would include any other type of commercial purpose than the usual advertising income for broadcast companies. And we interpreted the phrase commercial purposes broad enough to include any other sources of income apart from the usual advertising, but subject to any specific guidelines that the National Telecommunications Commission may impose.
In other words, dahil mas broad siya, ang naging interpretation doon ay pwedeng magkaroon ng iba pa na mga programa na kumikita ang ABS-CBN, hindi lamang doon sa advertising, etc. and other, but commercial, kasama na yung KBO. Tama po ba yun?
That is correct, because the term is general enough for
Yes.
commercial purposes.
Kasi ang isang issue dito is, yun na nga, illegal daw yung KBO. Pero kaya nga, hiningi ng NTC sa DOJ ang kanyang opinion, at ang opinion ng DOJ dated June 11, 2018 ay maaari magkaroon ng ganitong klaseng programa. Not necessarily ABS, but any franchise holder.
Subject to any specific conditions or regulations that the NTC may impose,
Yes.
Mr.
Okay.
Senator.
Maraming salamat for that clarification. And just the last point on the franchise.
Senator Pangilinan, sorry kasi may tanong ata kay Secretary Guevara. If you will I'll indulge Senator Tolentino.
Secretary Guevara, before you leave,
Yes, sir.
just to dilute some administrative confusion. Earlier, you mentioned that you can raise the equity reasons that would later on allow an expired franchise holder to continue. And NTC is asking more than once for your DOJ opinion. And now when I look at the administrative scheme of things, the Solicitor General's office is attached to the Department of Justice. So in this scheme of confusion, nakakalito na. Yung isang kamay ninyo, attached agency, Solicitor General's office, is asking the Supreme Court via a co-warranto vehicle na ito, maraming violations, wag nyo nang ibigay ito. Here you are, dealing with other government agencies, serving as the legal counsel. Ito, pwede naman yung gawin to. So, ano ba talaga yung relasyon ng Solicitor General's Office sa Department of Justice? Paano na yung... medyo naguguluhan po ako, sir. So, administratively, bureaucratically, is there a wisdom to this, sir?
Senator, the Office of the Solicitor General, which filed a petition for co-warranto, is an autonomous unit. It's an autonomous agency. It's only attached to the Department of Justice for budgetary purposes. Other than that, it is autonomous and independent of the Department of Justice. Now, they have filed this petition for co-warranto. They have alleged grounds to support a prayer for the forfeiture of the franchise of ABS-CBN I presume that they have studied this matter very carefully. We are here, or I am here, not in connection with the quo warranto proceedings, but in connection with the issue of what happens in the interim while a renewal franchise bill is being considered by the Congress, and I believe that they are totally different issues. The quo warranto pertains to an attack on the existing franchise. I am here not in connection with that existing franchise, but to provide some inputs as to how things should happen in the interim when that first franchise or existing franchise under attack actually lapses or expires, and until the time that Congress has actually acted on the franchise renewal bill.
In effect, you
Thank
have
you.
nothing to do with the Solicitor General.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Secretary Guevara. You may be excused.
Yes, my Undersecretary, former Congresswoman Emeline Villar, will stay behind to answer any further questions, Your Honor.
Has she had her oath administered? Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yusek Villar, you may take your seat in front, and Secretariat.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this proceeding? Yes, I do. Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, Madam Chairperson,
Senator Pangilinan.
Yes, just a question on the local government of Quezon City. How much are you paying in terms of real property taxes, fees?
Your Honor, Madam Chair, for 2018, real property tax for Quezon City was 27 million, but local business tax for Quezon City was 150 million. Real property tax nationwide was 33 million, and local business tax nationwide was 158 million.
So yung mga 150 million mawawala sa Quezon City government pag kayo ay nagsara. Thank you.
Maybe my colleagues would like to have additional questions. Senator Tolentino.
One more address to ABS-CBN. I have here in front of me a list of several PSE, non-PSE companies with stock option plans. I'm not intruding into your management system, but since a franchise is imbued with public interest, has it occurred to management that perhaps the employees should be afforded an opportunity that they be made part of the company's ownership by having an option to buy shares? Hindi ba ho natin napag-isipan na yung mga empleyado, yung mga nagsalita kanina, yung mga binabanggit na mga talents, yung mga cameraman, ay dapat na pagbigyan din na bumili ng stocks, magkaroon ng shares, option, para maging bahagi sila ng minamahal nilang ABS-CBN. Tanong ko lang po yun, Madam Chair, and anyone from ABS-CBN can answer. Kasi binabasa ko po rito yung mga iba't ibang kumpanya, Jollibee, yung mga empleyado nila, may employees stock option plan, Mega World, Emperador, employee share option plan, Manila Water, employee stock ownership plan, at napakarami po. So, natanong ko lang po yun, baka nakaligtaan o baka pwede pang gawin sa mga susunod na araw na maging bahagi ng pag-aari yung mga empleyado ng ABS-CBN.
Thank you, Your Honor, Madam Chair. If I remember correctly po, around 2 years ago, we implemented an employee stock purchase plan, which allows our employees to buy shares and to pay for the shares over a period of 5 years po.
It's in effect?
It's in effect, yes.
Can this be validated by the Securities and Exchange Commission? So kung ginagawa po ng ABS-CBN yun, napakaganda nun. Walang dahilan para magsabi na hindi sila bahagi ng pag-aari ng ABS-CBN. And they have more not just shares, but they have a slot, so to speak, in the management of ABS-CBN. Tama po ba yun, Securities and Exchange Commission, with the permission of Madam Chair?
Thank you, Your Honor. We can confirm, Your Honor, that they have a registered employee stock option plan with us. They have an ESOP, sir.
Ay dapat po, sinasabi nyo lagi yun, Mr. Katigbak, para malaman ng taong bayan, nakabahagi yung mga manggagawa ninyo sa pag-aari at pangangasiwa ng ABS-CBN. Salamat po.
Madam Chair. Yes, ma'am. In connection with these shares of stock, the ABS-CBN is a publicly listed company, and therefore you have shareholders who invested in the company. In the last 6 months, how has the publicly listed shares performed? Bumagsak na ba ang value ng ABS-CBN to the detriment of your public shareholders, diba? The public, the general public who have invested through the stock exchange?
Unfortunately, the last few years, Your Honor, have been quite painful for our shareholders, including our employee shareholders. Our stock price has come down from a high of about somewhere in the 60 peso range down to a low of about 16 pesos. If I'm
60 to 16?
Yes po.
So how much is that?
That's 44 peso difference.
And how much is the total from drop? The drop in the share prices and the value, yes.
So that would be about 30 billion, more or less, if I'm not mistaken.
And this 30 billion would be the public suffering who have invested. Maybe some of them have invested their retirement, savings, etc. with ABS-CBN. Tama po ba yun?
Yes, Your Honor, Madam Chair.
Would you have figures in terms of itong 30 billion? Gaano karami ring apektado dyan in terms of your shareholders who have invested?
I don't have the information with me now, Your Honor, but if it's important, we can supply it to the committee.
Because apart from hindi lamang ang mga trabahador, hindi lang yung ating rank and file, napakahalaga nun. Pero yung mga mamamayang yung ating ordinary citizens na nag-participate sa stock market, bumili ng ABS-CBN shares, apektado rin. Dahil 30 billion yung halaga ng bumagsak in the last 2, 3, 4 years perhaps. Dahil nga dito sa walang katiyakan sa prangkisa, hindi po ba? And I would like to think, Madam Chairperson, meron tong epekto sa ibang mga publicly listed corporations na isang publicly listed corporation ay humaharap sa ganitong pagsubok. What is to and a media giant at that? What is to stop other publicly listed corporations to face a similar experience and lose billions? In fact, nangyari na ata sa Maynila at sa Manila Water, 120 billion ata ang bagsak ng publicly listed corporations na ito. And so this has an overall chilling effect not only for other publicly listed, not only for media organizations, hindi lamang sa mga ibang media organizations, kung hindi pati sa mga publicly listed na mga kumpanya na maaaring bumagsak ng bilyon-bilyon ang halaga ng kanilang stocks dahil sa mga hinaharap nilang pagsubok with government regulation. Thank you, Madam Chairperson.
Follow-up question, Madam Chair.
In order of arrival, I think Senator Bato has to have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. To NTC, Chairman, gusto ko lang klaruhin yung issue about pay-per-view ng KBO. Sabi mo kanina, humingi kayo ng opinion, legal opinion from DOJ. Ang response ng DOJ, sinabi kayo na ni Secretary ng Justice na okay lang daw yun, subject to regulations being imposed by NTC. So tanungin kita ngayon, do you have any regulations na nag-run counter doon sa legal opinion ng DOJ? Thank you.
Thank you, Senator and Madam Chair. Actually po, we requested for that opinion from the Department of Justice and we received the reply. Basically, our question is, does the phrase use of the franchise for any commercial purpose, is it broad enough to include ito pong tinatawag na pay-per-view? And ang sagot naman po ng Department of Justice is it is wide enough, it is general enough to include pay-per-view and yun pong mga pag-air ng ads. Dati po kasi, ang business model po ng ating mga broadcasters is yung pong pag-air ng mga ads, advertisements. Ngayon po ay nadagdagan because of this new digital technology. So to ensure lang po na may legal basis ang aming gagawin, we ask for an opinion and sabi naman po ng DOJ ay meron. Kaya pong i-accommodate yung pay-per-view. But in the meantime po ay gagawa na po kami dapat ng implementing rules and regulations. Kaya lang po ay meron po kasing gustong i-clarify pa ang mga broadcasters dun sa opinion that was given by the DOJ. Okay. Dito po kasi sa dulo, anong opinion nakalagay po, sa last paragraph po, to summarize, it is our opinion that TV broadcasters may be allowed to engage in conditional access or conditional access system, more specifically to offer TV pay-per-view services, provided that it does not amount to CATV service or cable TV po ang ibig sabihin siguro nito, which shall only be considered as such if it is for purposes of providing multiple channel CATV service. So actually po, gagawa na po sana kami ng implementing rules and regulations, but yung pong mga broadcasters natin, yung pong KBP and the other broadcasters would want to clarify first kung ano po kaya ang ibig sabihin nung last paragraph po na yon. So in the meantime po ngayon ay wala pa po yung implementing rules and regulations at kailangan po namin atang i-clarify muna sa DOJ yung last paragraph po.
Pero, General Bato, pasensya na po ha. Mabilis lang to. Pero in the meantime, alam ninyo na nag-ooperate sila, hindi naman ninyo pinatigil.
Actually po, yun po kasing pag-operate nila, patigil-tigil din. And actually, we issued, doon po sa mga unang sulat nila nagpapaalam, we issued letters and sinabi po namin sa kanila na huwag po nilang gagawin yon dahil wala pa naman implementing rules.
Tapos nag-explica sila sa inyo, pero hindi na rin kayo sumagot.
Actually po ma'am, nagkaroon na po kasi sila ng, actually the one who was raising it was a FICTAP, Mrs. Tamanos here, nagkaroon na po kasi sila ng parang conciliation. And actually ma'am, just to be frank about it, yun po kasing pay-per-view, at first it was being looked at as a threat to other for example, the other formats like the cable business. Kaya lang po napansin po namin, and maybe we can ask the broadcasters po ngayon, hindi po siya masyado nag-fly as a business model. Yun po kasing pay-per-view, there's a schedule. For example, this Saturday, may oras at manunood ka ng ganitong palabas at magbabayad ka. I think even before it flew, ay na-overtake na po kasi siya ng video on demand. Which means that you can watch any movie, anytime, anywhere. You only have to use your cell phone. Kaya po yung init on the matter ay medyo nag-subside na po.
At last, before ibalik ko ulit, just for the record, noong 2017 kasi, nagpasa kami ng prangkisa dito ng GMA7. Ngayon, dahil nag-take over na ako as Chairman of Public Services, nagdagdag kami ng mga ibang probisyon na wala sa mga dating prangkisa. Kasama dito, dahil na rin sa panukala ni Senator Lacson, ay taasan ang public service airtime ng gobyerno. Pending the new IRR of NTC. Meron kasi doon na sinasabi na doon sa kung paano doon sa batas, meron na babanggit doon na meron dapat public service announcement, etc., that the NTC will provide the guidelines. Now, wala pa naman yung guidelines na yon. But we allow them to operate anyway. I mean, GMA7 is already using its franchise. I'm just saying, regularity is presumed until, of course, there is a warning from the NTC. Yun lang naman. General Batot, thank you for your indulgence.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Balikan ko lang yung letter mo addressed to ABSCBN Corporation. In your letter to ABSCBN Corporation, dated April 29, 2015, you directed ABSCBN to refrain from offering any paid television service until such time that the NTC has come up with appropriate guidelines for the same. What was your legal basis in issuing this order?
Actually po, meron po kasing in-issue ang, I think, ang DICT, hindi ko lang po dala ngayon, but I can submit it, na sinasabi po doon na in the meantime, ay wag po munang mag-offer ng pay-per-view ang ABS-CBN or any broadcaster for that matter hanggat wala po yung implementing rules and regulations and hanggat hindi po binibigyan ng authority ng National Telecommunications Commission.
So pinakinggan kanila? Uminto ba sila sa pag-offer ng pay-per-view?
Ito pong mga sulat namin, sir, ay hindi po natuloy yung pagpapalabas sila ng pay-per-view.
Hindi natuloy?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mayroong mga ilang palabas dito na boxing match of Donaire against Bidak in 2016. Pinoy Pride 38, Pinoy Pride 41, 2019 ABS-CBN Ball, concert of TNT Boys, homecoming concert of Catriona Gray. They were all viewed by a pay-per-view basis. So, ibig sabihin, dinisregard ng ABS-CBN yung caution mo sa kanila to refrain from engaging in a pay-per-view service?
On that po, I'm not familiar with it, Your Honors. I would have to check. Ito po kasing mga sinulatan namin ay particular shows na hininto po namin.
Commissioner Cordova, kunyari sabihin na natin, hindi dapat nag-air ang ABS-CBN doon sa pay-per-view. At ilang beses nila ginawa yun. Wala naman kayo kasi follow-up, this is your first warning, this is your second warning. Ano ang karampatang parusa sa ganon? Multa ba? Pagpapatigil ng operasyon? O pagsasara ng prangkisa?
Actually, Your Honor, based on the Public Service Act, that would be just fine po.
Fine.
That's 200 pesos per violation.
Kailangan na natin i-revise yun.
Kaya nga po, nakikiusap kami sa Kongreso, sa Senate at sa House of Representatives sa kung pwede pong ma-revise yun. And in fact, Your Honors, nagkaroon po ng desisyon ang Supreme Court sa Divina Algaracia case saying that the NTC cannot revoke license or broadcaster. And matagal na pong kaso yun ng Supreme Court.
So, Madam Chair, in that connection, I would like to require NTC na bilisan niyo yung guidelines na ginagawa ninyo. Otherwise, kung walang guidelines, prone to abuse yung sistema na ganun pag wala kayong guidelines. So, dapat bilisan ninyo. Yun lang, Madam Chair. Maraming salamat.
Thank you, General Bato.
Maraming salamat po, Your Honor.
Senator Risa, do you want, before I pass the floor on to Senator Recto, did you want to add something in connection? And then I think I want to hear from Ms. Neng Tamano. In the interest of fairness, I know that you have some issues, an oppositor on certain particular issues with ABS. If you could just speak out later. Senator Risa.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Isang follow-up po dun sa tanong ni Senator De La Rosa. So sinabi niyo nga po taga-NTC na you are mandated, for example, to levy a fine. Sabi niyo po 200 pesos per violation. So ganito pong mga sitwasyon na may issue ng di umano using free-to-air frequencies for a conditional access system. Hindi ba mandated naman kayo to file a complaint motu proprio sa ganitong mga kaso?
Yes, Your Honor. Actually po, ito nga po ang isa sa mga issues na ni-raise po ng Solicitor General sa kanila pong Pawarto case. Actually po, the Office of the Solgen ay sinulatan po kami to ask for documents for this, and we were able to provide the documents. And actually po, right now po ay this matter is already pending before the Supreme Court as a basis for the revocation or pagtanggal po ng prangkisa ng ABS-CBN. So actually po, yung pong matter na yun ay pending na po sa Korte Suprema.
Pero kaya nga, Madam Chair, bakit kinailangan pang umabot sa ganitong sitwasyon na, ayan na nga, nasa korte? Bakit hindi kinilusan na ng commission early on? I mean, ano bang naging problema? Was there some kind of regulatory capture going on? Or ano po ba yung dahilan na hindi nyo na lang in-exercise yung mandate ninyo?
Actually po, Your Honors, yung po kasing mga stakeholders ay nag-uusap-usap naman. And actually, ito po kasing pay-per-view is not only the position of ABS-CBN only, it is the position of the whole KBP. Gusto po kasi ng broadcasters na magkaroon talaga ng pay-per-view because nagkaroon po kasi ng digital TV, and that is one of the platforms po na because of nagkaroon ng bagong technology ay pumasok po yung chance po na yon. So, it's not actually ABS-CBN per se ang may gusto nito, but actually yung buong KBP as an organization.
And then I guess, Madam Chair, in leaving that question, all the more reason sana ay timely kumilos ang NTC given the Commission's mandate vis-a-vis all of these stakeholders, hindi lamang yung ABS-CBN, para hindi pa kailangang umabot sa ganitong sitwasyon na pati kami sa Kongreso naaagawan ng mandato sa mga usaping prangkisa. And follow-up kay Senator Pangilinan kanina on that other issue na di umano failure to make a public stock offering. Totoo po ba na neither MMTI, Multimedia Telephony Inc., nor Convergence or ABS-CBN Convergence Inc., so I guess I should ask this to ABS-CBN, totoo po ba na neither of these entities offered shares of their stock to the public within 5 years from the grant of MMTI's franchise?
Madam Chair, with your permission, before I answer the Senator's question, may I give a brief comment on KBO before we leave the topic on the issue of pay-per-view?
Go ahead, Mr. Katigba.
I think the first statement we want to reiterate is that both the Secretary of Justice and I think the Commissioner of the NTC have said that the provision of pay-per-view services is not in violation of our franchise. Both of them have said that the specific wording in our franchise is to operate a broadcast television network for commercial purposes. And the term commercial purposes is broad enough to allow us to charge for certain services. So it's important po for us to really establish that we did not violate a provision in our franchise by offering pay-per-view. I think the second point we would wish to make is that this is one of the cheapest forms of entertainment that we're now able to offer to 9 million homes that have a TV Plus box. At 30 pesos, it is a lot cheaper than paying for your pamasahe para pumunta sa sinehan, or mas mura din po ito kaysa sa magbayad po kayo ng ticket sa sinehan. We feel that this is a public service that we've provided to our customers. And yes, the technology has moved faster than the regulatory environment. It has created capabilities that didn't used to exist before. But we feel that it's not enough of a reason to take away a service that's important to the general public. I wanted to reference the statements of the Philippine Competitive Commission that the goal was always lower cost and innovation. And I think in the example of KBO, we've been able to deliver both to the general public. One final point po on pay-per-view. Commissioner Cordova mentioned that we have been overtaken by video on demand. I just wanted to point out that many of these video on demand services, including YouTube and Netflix, are not po under the regulatory scope of the various agencies. Many of them don't even operate with a Philippine franchise, and many of them are foreign-owned. So I think it maybe strengthens our position that KBO should not be taken against us or taken against the public. Thank you for allowing me to answer that, Your Honor, Madam Chair. If possible, on the issue of the public listing and ABS convergence, because it's a very legal matter, may I request that our attorney be allowed to respond.
Attorney Bautista.
Yes. If I may add a little bit to what the president of ABS said, no? Yung pong KBO was approved by the NTC, Senator De La Rosa, May 14, 2019, subject to the following condition, and I quote, "The use of conditional access system on DTTP service shall be subject to such conditional access guidelines that the Commission or any other relevant government agency may hereafter issue." Wala pa pong guidelines up to today. Ang aming pong paniniwala is pending the issuance of such guidelines, if they ever come up, do not prohibit us from pursuing the migration from analog to digital. Kasi po, yung migration from analog to digital is a government policy. To simplify things, no? Dati po, sa analog, isang frequency, isang channel. Ngayon po, sa digital, same frequency, pwedeng maging 6 na channel because of technological advances. With better video, better audio. Yun ho ang gusto ng gobyerno, na mag-migrate tayo from analog to digital. Kaya ho may tinatawag na ASO, no? Automatic Stop Order ng policy. No, on a given date, all operators must shift from analog to digital. Ang ABS po, ang una na pumasok sa digital, malaki po ang investment ng ABS sa digital through the boxes. At it now affords ABS using the same frequency, limited frequency, to provide the market with far more channels for free po yung iba. Libre po ito. Ngayon, meron pong mga channels na ino-offer ng ABS after Convergence suspended its operations na may pay-per-view. Pero po, with NTC approval.
Thank you, Attorney Bautista. General Bato?
Madam Chair, for the record, I just would like to state na yung pag-cite ko dito about sa pay-per-view ninyo sa KBO, it doesn't mean na against ako dyan sa inyong KBO, ha? I'm just giving you the opportunity to, kasi sabi ko nga, dapat mayroon tayong hearing para malaman natin kung kayo bang ABSCBN ay isang santo or makasalanan. So ngayon, you're giving me the right answer. Sabi ko nga, sabi ng NTC, tsaka sabi nung DOJ, na wala kayo binabayulit, napakaganda pakinggan pag ganun. So I am one step closer to supporting your renewal of your franchise with that answer. Yung nga lang, kaya you have to be fair. Kinaklaro lang talaga natin kung violation ba ito hindi as being cited. So ngayon, sabi mo na, NTC, wala ka reklamo. Ha?
Actually po, in a way po ay meron silang pagkukulang dahil po nag-air sila nang wala pa po yung guidelines. So, yun na nga po ang inakyat sa Korte Supreme.
Hindi mo daw yan enough para hindi rin yung franchise. Penalty mo lang daw yan. Ikaw mo nagsabi, di ba? Penalty lang.
Yes, Your Honor. Actually po, subject na rin po sa Supreme.
Oo, tama.
200 pesos a day? Pero yun nga lang akin, ha? Baka sabihin nyo, si Bato galit sa ABSCBN. No. Hindi ako galit sa inyo. In fact, nagpasalamat ako sa inyo. Marami kayong natulungan na tao. Pero akin lang, ayaw ko yung marami nagsasabi na porque malakas ay powerful kayo, winawalang hiya na lang ninyo ang gobyerno, hindi nyo sinusunod, kinukusyon kayo ng NTC to stop from doing that, ayaw nyo sundin. Yun lang ang aking one. Dapat, this is a government of laws. Dapat sundin natin yung batas kung anong nararapat. So, sinabi nyo, wala kayong binayulit, salamat. Maraming salamat. Wala po akong personal sa inyo. Ako, sabihin nyo, porque galit si Presidente sa inyo, galit na rin ako. Sabi ko lang sa inyo na gawin natin ang tama. Kung anong tama, kung gawin natin. So, thank you for that answer. Thank you.
Marami pong salamat.
Just to follow up on the answers to Senator Bato's question, just clearly and for the record, the alleged violation of the pay-per-view services in the view of the NTC is not a ground for the revocation of the franchise, but only subjects ABS-CBN, assuming that they have violated that, to a fine of 200 pesos per violation. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much.
Senator Lisa?
Yes, Madam
and
Chair,
then
I have
after you,
a
because there are others waiting in the wings also.
I just had a pending question to Mr. Katigbak, which he referred to Attorney Bautista. If the good attorney could address that too, na tama ba na neither MMTI ni Convergence ay inoffer yung shares of stock nila sa publiko sa loob ng 5 taon mula nung i-grant yung franchise ng MMTI. Tama po ba yun?
Nagpapasalamat po kami para sa opportunity na to na marinig ang side ng ABS-CBN. Just for the record, Madam Chairman and senators, honorable senators, this morning we filed our comments on the petition for quo warranto of the Office of the Solicitor General and on his very urgent motion for the issuance of a gag order. Those comments deal with all the grounds raised against ABS-CBN in detail. All of them, the KBO issue, the regulatory estoppel issue, the convergence issue, the PDRs. We discussed everything in great detail. So with your permission, I will provide the committee with copies of both our comments after the hearing. Now specifically to the convergence. Yung pong convergence, under the stock exchange rules po, only companies which qualify under the rules can do up an IPO. If you do not qualify under the rules, you are not allowed to issue an IPO. And to put it simply, Convergence never qualified financially for the offering of the IPO. So in effect, we are being required to perform an act which we are legally barred from performing with respect to the issuance of the IPO on the convergence.
Attorney, Madam Chair, is ABS-CBN Holdings a wholly owned subsidiary of ABS-CBN?
It is not, Your Honor. I believe it is not.
Is ABS-CBN a listed company?
Yes, it is, definitely.
Well, Madam Chair, I just appreciate hearing more from the attorney and the commitment of ABS to provide the committee through the chair a copy of their comments.
Yes.
Also because while reading about this issue raised against ABS-CBN in the news, naalala ko na may ganito ring issue na ibinato sa smart telecommunications noon, sinagot nila, pinaliwanag nila sa ganito ring mga or similar na mga argumento, and we actually gave them their franchise.
Thank you.
For the record, Madam Chair.
I think Senator Recto is now recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to follow up on some of my points earlier and to be brief about it as well. Maraming stakeholders ang ABS-CBN. Unang-una, napag-usapan natin yung mga empleyado. Humigit kumulang 11,000 ang pwede mawala ng trabaho. Dagdag pa dyan, napanggit kanina ni Senator Angara, may mga indirect employees. Mga ilang kaya yan? Yung mga indirect employees na nakikinabang sa ABS-CBN. Palagay ko, 1,000 din yan. No? Having said that, alam din natin na yung mga may-ari, stakeholder ng ABS-CBN. At dahil publicly listed kayo, kung hindi ako nagkakamali, may 5,000 ang may-ari ng ABS-CBN. Kasama na rin dyan ang ilang mga empleyado ninyo. Is that correct, Carlo?
Yes, Your Honor. We have about 8,000 stockholders.
Stockholders, right? Okay. Dagdag pa dyan, malaki din ang utang ng ABS-CBN sa mga bangko. Nakita ko ang financial statements ninyo. Mga 30 billion din yan. At you have to be operating to be able to pay these obligations with the banks. Marami mga depositor. Hindi ko ba? So, pag hindi nakabayad ng ABS-CBN, magkakaproblema din ang ilang mga bangko. No? Is that correct, Carlo?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Pero ang pinakamalaking stakeholder, palagay ko, ng ABS-CBN ay yung mga nanonood at tumatangkilik sa ABS-CBN. At base sa mga napag-usapan kanina dito, sa 100 milyon, at least 70% ay nanonood, 70 million, domestically at least, ay nanonood ng ABS-CBN. Para sa balita, para sa entertainment, at kung ano-ano pa. Dagdag pa dyan, meron ba kayong kompetensya overseas with other local networks with regard to overseas Filipino workers na ang kanilang balita na kukuha lang nila sa katulad ninyo yung TFC? Do you have any competitor outside also whose market is the overseas Filipino worker?
Yes, we do have competitors outside the country, Your Honor, but the largest share of the market is still held by ABS-CBN.
At mga ilan yan ang tumatangkilik sa inyo dyan?
We serve about 2.5 million, close to 3 million viewers.
So that's roughly 30% of our 10 million Filipinos abroad.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay? At dito pinag-usapan kanina, hindi naman kayo sasara ng March 31 o April 1. Sabi ng DOJ Secretary kanina, maliwanag hanggang May 4 pa kayo. Okay? Ngayon ang tanong, NTC, masasabi ba ninyo sa amin, dahil itong katanungan ng lahat ng tao, after May 4, kung sakasakali, hindi makapasa ang Kongreso at ng Senado ng extension ng prangkisa ng ABS-CBN o di kaya ng isang joint resolution, could you categorically state what is the position of the NTC kung papayagan pa ninyo ABS-CBN to continue to operate considering lahat ng pinag-usapan natin dito today? Kasama na rin na wala naman violation sa BIR. Bilyon-bilyon ang binayad both sa national at sa lokal na pamahalaan. Walang violation sa SEC. Walang violation sa NTC. Could you categorically state the position of the NTC kung papayagan pa rin ninyong magpatuloy mag-broadcast ang ABS-CBN habang tinatalakay ng Kongreso ang prangkisa ng ABS-CBN? At least for this Congress, na 2 taon pa ang buhay ng Kongreso nito.
Madam Chairman, honorable members of the committee, I consulted earlier with the Secretary of Justice and I told him kung paano nga po ang magandang gawin kung wala po yung, kunwari po ba ay wala yung joint resolution. Ang sabi naman po niya ay we can let ABS-CBN continue to broadcast, but mas maganda po kasi kung meron din, sir.
Of course.
Because magkakaroon po kasi ng question, what is the basis for us to issue such an a provisional authority? Pero based on equity po, ay pwede naman daw, kaya lang, sir, to put a more legal basis and legal muscle to that action, mas maganda po kung meron din pong
yes, of course,
concurrent resolution ang Senate po at ang House of Representatives.
That is correct. So mabuti naman at nabanggit mo openly na base sa pinag-usapan niya ni Secretary of Justice on the principles of equity, katulad ng precedents of the mga nangyari na noong unang panahon, hindi nyo pinasara habang tinatalakay sa Kongreso. Di ho ba? And in the past, wala namang kay-nation provincial authority, is that correct? So ngayon, pwedeng hindi rin naman dahil meron pang 2 taon na pwedeng pag-usapan pa ng Kongreso. Dahil as today, the ball has started to roll. Pinag-uusapan na rin natin. Di ho ba? Yung extension or the possibility of also not giving the ABS an extension, right? Okay.
So, okay lang po ba Pagdinig?
Yes, please. Please continue.
Actually po kasi, yun po mga nakaraang nangyari like CBCP and Smart, PTNT at saka yung po mga nirelate po ni Senator po a while ago, ay doon po sa mga franchises na yon ay wala mo naman po kasing we shall say walang issues, walang lumabas po na controversies at in fact wala naman po nag-file ng quo warranto case. So mas maganda po based nga po sa discussion namin ni Secretary of Justice na magkaroon din po talaga ng act from Congress para po masuportahan yung aming magiging action.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Madam Chair, just an inquiry. Did we invite the Solicitor General for today's hearing?
Would not know that. I would not know. But can I just follow up on your line of questioning? Yes, you mentioned Attorney Corba that the ABS-CBN can continue to operate while we are still discussing the franchise renewal. However, you would admit that temporary authority is subject to withdrawal at any time. Is that correct for the record?
Actually po, Your Honors, I would have to check po kung paano magandang gawin namin doon kasi po I would have to consult with the Secretary of Justice also on the details.
Assuming that
Yes.
the Congress is not able to renew, you said on equity, you can issue a temporary authority. As pointed out by other speakers, the issue as to whether or not it has a chilling effect on ABS-CBN is a very valid issue. Especially if you say that at any point of time, you can withdraw that provisional authority because it is a provisional authority and there is no covering franchise from Congress. Is that a correct statement?
Actually, tinanong ko rin po kay Secretary of Justice, ang sabi naman po niya, we will use the usual provisions of usual conditions na nakalagay po doon po sa mga authority na binigay po sa may mga franchise naman. So, para po ma-revoke po yon, kailangan din po dumaan sa due process yon.
I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're saying. Can you clarify a little bit?
Actually, sir, ang pagbigay po kasi ng authority or license is subject to conditions. And upon discussion with the Secretary of Justice, ang aming pong napagkasunduan is we'll use, upon the question of Senator Angara, is that we will use the same provisions that are included in the authorities that are given to other franchises po na existing ang franchise.
That you're saying that you will withdraw that power to withdraw the temporary provisional authority would be limited by the same powers that you would have on the present situation where you have where they have a regular franchise.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much.
On a final note, with the permission of the chairman and my colleagues, Attorney Cordova, ilan ho bang national franchises, broadcasting franchise, ang naaprubahan na ng Kongreso?
We don't have the numbers, Your Honor, but we're willing to submit it.
Yeah.
But medyo marami na po ever since...
Meron bang 100 yan?
May wala.
Ika, Mr. Basbanyo would like to
Maaari po. Maybe
contribute. Baka mas
Chairman
matagal na-
Basbanyo would be able to answer.
Yes, just
Yeah,
very briefly. Yes.
Yes, Madam Chair. In the last two Congresses, 17th and 18th, there's a total of 45 of our members' applications for renewal of franchises that have been approved.
So national broadcasting lahat ito.
National and some regional and local applications.
That's just for two
Yes.
Congresses,
years,
right?
Yes,
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Sa madaling salita, napakarami niyan. Di ba? Okay. Ilan dun sa mga inaproba natin ang kaya talaga magtayo ng facilities, makapag-broadcast nationwide? Hindi ba hindi ganun kadali yan? And today, we're talking about one of the oldest companies, 66 years old. Number one or number two in the industry. Is that correct?
Your Honors, actually po, if you're talking about radio broadcaster,
Yes.
in a municipality, they would need maybe 3 to 5 million in capital expenditure for the first
Correct.
para po makapag-implement. Sa radio lang po yun.
Kung radio, TV.
Yes.
So hindi ganun kadali. In fact, there are only a few operating. And the market share, as mentioned by the Philippine Competition Commission earlier, is that halos dalawa. There are 4 with 90% of the market. Sa daan na probably na pinasa natin dito, 4 lang ang naglalaban-laban. In fact, the first 2 ay malayo-malayo na. 30 to 40, 45% ng market share. So, hindi ganun kadali magtayo ng broadcasting. Huwag din natin para sabi ko kanina in the beginning, I think many of these issues, assuming that there are any violations, pwede penalty lang. Ang central bank, pag ang bangko nagkamali, kadalasan penalty ang binabayaran. Philippine Competition Commission, kadalasan penalty. I don't think that this warrants a death penalty or a capital punishment na papatayin natin yung kumpanya. Di ho ba? So thank you for that, Madam Chair. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Senator Recto. Senator Tolentino has some additional points or questions.
Huling tanong ko na siguro to. Pagod na tayong lahat at yung mga other franchise holders, hindi pa natin natatakal, Madam Chair. But for my last question, and this is not meant to derogate past accomplishments of ABS-CBN. Ang laking tulong nyo lalo sa mga disasters. Yung huli, sa Taal, alam din ni Senator Recto ito. Doon po sa sinabi ng BIR kanina. And my intention here for ABS-CBN team present is really to inoculate you, immunize you. When the time comes that you face the House grilling relative to your franchise renewal and even the Supreme Court, I'll be asking a question that has never been asked, never been raised in the Supreme Court, that probably would help elucidate some of the finances here. BIR is listening or texting? BIR? Nakikinig ka naman, ano? Sinabi mo kanina, ang kinita ng ABS-CBN, and ABS-CBN has been a good taxpayer, 14 billion. 14 billion, 398 million plus. And we commend ABS-CBN for really being a very good taxpayer. Sinusunod nila yung patakaran sangayon sa BIR. And ABS-CBN, a while ago, hours ago, acceded to the request of the good chair na i-waive na yung confidentiality, and they're willing to show us the records para makita na ng taong bayan na talagang nagbabayad sila ng buwis. BIR, listen. So, sa dinami-dami ng lahat na ito, it has disturbed me, reading from my notes, that apparently the franchise, again, I repeat this, imbued with the public interest. Sabi nga ng saligang batas, dapat ang may-ari, Pilipino lang. Ang pinagtataka ko lang po, Madam Chair, bakit po nagkaroon ng ABS-CBN kay Global Limited registered in Cayman Islands? That's number one. Number two, isa po sa pinagtataka ko, and I'm not intruding in your management prerogatives, siguro dapat kumita ng malaki para makapag-invest ng malaki. Why is it that there was an ABS-CBN Global Hungary incorporated in Budapest, Hungary years ago? Pinagtataka ko kasi sa records ng Department of Foreign Affairs, 333 lang ang Pilipino sa Hungary, sa buong Hungary. Although Hungary is part of the European Union. And Cayman Islands, an island, a group of islands between Cuba and Central America, hindi ko alam kung may Pilipino ron, baka yung sa mga cruise ships. So, tinatanong ko yung BIR, kasi magkano ang corporate tax rate sa Pilipinas ngayon? 30%. So, ang bumabagabag sa akin, and perhaps some members of the ABS team can answer this, bakit kaya napili yung Cayman Islands na pag nag-register ka sa Cayman Islands, effectively, immediately, 20 years tax-free. Pag nag-register ka naman ng ABS company sa Hungary, 7.5% lang ang rate ng corporate income tax. Siguro dapat masagot na ito kasi tatanungin din kayo. Baka naman nababawasan yung binabayad sa BIR kasi yung iba nagkaroon na ng corporate tax nexus sa Hungary, sa Budapest, and Cayman Islands. Is there a semblance of truth to this speculation that the reason why there is an ABS-CBN holdings company in Cayman Islands and Hungary is to reduce the corporate tax that should be paid? Anybody can answer. Yun na po yung huling tanong ko. And again, my purpose here is to really vaccinize you, immunize you, because these questions, these pestering questions will linger on and will be asked in the House and perhaps will be raised in the Supreme Court again. Baka mag-file pa ng supplemental pleading ang Solicitor General kasi naririnig tayo ngayon. Anybody can answer. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, may I request that the Chief Financial Officer of ABS-CBN, Mr. Balduesa, be recognized.
And I think you already took your oath, right, sir? Please identify yourself.
That's correct, Madam Chair. Thank you. Ron Balduesa, the Group Chef of ABS. Thank you, Your Honor. Our goal is to operate efficiently and effectively as we deliver great values to our different clients, customers, audiences, viewers, and partners in our stakeholders. In the case of our international operations, since we operate in different countries and jurisdictions, our structure is a product of a detailed and careful study made by ABS and its advisors, like the SGB and the PwC of the San Jose, USA. Your Honor, when you have a business outside, you need to register in those countries so that you follow the rules and regulations as well. So, Cayman Island was incorporated many years ago and is right now non-operational. So you mentioned about Hungary. Hungary, we set it up because it's a country where you can best manage and how to best monetize the international rights for our content. That's why we have this the Hungary. And these are also being audited in those countries, like for example the EY Hungary, and have the EY US also auditing the financial statements of our Hungary operations.
Matanong ko sa BIR, ito ba ay illegal na practice? Marami namang mga kumpanya na naririto sa ating bansa, pero meron ding ibang kumpanya na ipinapatayo sa ibang bansa. Basta kung ano man ang kinikita na dinideklara ng buong kampanya, yun ang dapat din ibayad sa BIR. Halimbawa, yung inyo bang ABS-CBN Global, meron bang nadadalang kita dito sa ating bansa?
We have a subsidiary, Your Honor, na involved in the digitization services. That one,
ganito na lang po, magkano kinita ng TFC ninyo last year?
The global is about, total group is about 240 million.
Pesos?
240 million pesos, yeah.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Ang kinita ng TFC last year?
That's
240
that's
million.
20 in the based on the 2018 audited financial statement.
2018 financial statement, 240 million pesos ang kinita ng TFC. Ngayon, syempre, meron pang operation costs yon. Dun sa 240 million, may nababalik ba dito sa ating bansa as income?
That's correct, Madam Chair.
So kung naibabalik dito sa ating bansa, binabayaran din natin ang buwis sa BIR.
That's correct, Madam Chair.
Although there's a reciprocity between countries that if you already pay the required taxes in that country, that percentage is already credited here in the Philippines. Like I know in some countries, there is that recognition. That's why our colleague, Senator Manny Pacquiao, had that case in the US, I believe, and then if he can show a receipt that he's paid the corresponding tax there, he need not be taxed twice, at least for that percentage. Am I correct? BIR? Wala namang sinasaad sa ating batas na sinasabing hindi kayo pwedeng gumawa ng kumpanya sa ibang bansa. Tama ba yun?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay, so, with that, you're saying that your Cayman Island, because the Cayman Island operation sometimes is suspect in some people's minds that you're evading taxes in a particular country, or it's a safe haven for some companies that are trying to hide their financial statements. But in your case, you've declared in a proper, at least here in the Philippines, what your income is. Am I correct?
That Cayman Island, Madam Chair, what was your the committee, your committee, and the honorable senators, that we don't have any tax haven or safe haven anywhere.
Okay.
And that Cayman has been non-operational ever since.
All right. Siguro bago ako, sige, Senator Gatchalian.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, sundan ko lang po yung mga tinanong kay Attorney Cordova. May hypothetical question po ko, Attorney. Sinabi niyo kanina na kahit na hindi ma-renew yung franchise after May 4, pwede pa silang mag-operate using the principle of equity. Tama po ba?
Yes, Your Honor. Based on the advice of the Secretary of Justice po sa atin.
Assuming after May 4, hindi yung ma-renew, at may isang kumpanyang may prangkisa na i-applyan yung parehong frequency ng ABS, pwede ba niyang applyan yun at pwede niyang makuha yung frequency na yun? For example, Channel 2. No? Pwede po ba ho yun?
If we let them operate, Your Honor, then hindi po pwedeng makuha yung frequency nila.
So hindi pwedeng makuha yung frequency na ho yun?
Yes, Your Honor, because they wouldn't be able to operate if we remove their frequency.
Kahit na walang prangkisa?
Yun po ang tama po. Tama po.
So kahit walang prangkisa at pinayagan nyo sila mag-operate, hindi ho pwedeng applyan yung mga frequency nila?
Yes, Your Honor.
Again, no? Wala hong prangkisa after May 4. Kung mayroong magre-reklamo sa ENTC, for example po, OSG, at sasabihin, wala nang prangkisa to, ay alam naman ho natin yung kanilang kaso sa Korte Suprema, pwede mo bang gamitin yung reklamo yan as a basis to revoke the operations?
Actually po, Your Honor, medyo mahirap po yung tanong ninyo, but that would be to cabinet secretaries. And, based po sa, meron kasing nilabas sa Department Order before, that the opinion of the Secretary of Justice would take precedence. Ibig sabihin, sila po ang
press freedom. We all know that there are abuses on the politician side, but there are also abuses on
bilang quasi-judicial body, at sabihin wala ng legal basis ang ABS mag-operate, hindi nyo pagbibigyan ang reklamo ng OSG?
Based po sa discussion namin ni Secretary of Justice, mukhang hindi po.
In other words, yung principle of equity, matibay ho yan kahit wala ng prangkisa po ang ABS?
Yes, sir.
Madam Chair, sundan ko lang ho yung
kanina yung discussion sa PDRs na udlot ho yung si Commissioner kanina na pipigil ho siya. Commissioner sa SEC, yung PDRs, no, ito kasi ho ay controversial. In fact, lumalabas tong PDRs hindi lang ho sa ABS kundi nabanggit nga Senator Hontivero sa Rappler that in the past marami hong mga PDRs na lumalabas at naging issue ho to. Itong PDRs ba ito, ibig sabihin ba nito ay may dayuhan na nagmay-ari ng ABS-CBN?
Your Honor, that's a multi-stage question. If Your Honors will agree and the Chair will agree, can I just make my presentation on the general features of the depository receipts?
Alam mo, ganito na lang. Kasi masyadong detalyado at technical na pag-aaralan ng komite. On the other hand, I'm sure you know at the top of your head, other companies like GMA7 and other media companies, do they have PDRs or they don't?
Yes, they do, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. I think that should be enough for now, and please submit your presentation later on. Appreciate it.
Madam Chair, just for the record, for this particular ABS-CBN PDRs, meron ba ho dito na nagsasaad na foreigners ang may pagmamayari ng ABS-CBN? Dahil alam ko ang PDRs, iba-iba rin yan, bawat kumpanya. No? Maraming mga nakasingit at underlying provisions. But this particular one sa ABS, meron ba hong nakasaad ho dyan na kung ikaw ay holder ng PDRs, may-ari ka rin ng ABS-CBN?
Your Honor, the challenge here is the test to determine ownership is evolving in the Supreme Court. What we can say is that when the PDRs of ABS-CBN Holdings Corporation, so just for the information of the Senate, the one that issued the PDRs is ABS-CBN Holdings Corporation, not ABS-CBN itself. When they were issued, based on prevailing law, jurisprudence, rules and regulations, the determination of the SEC at the time was there's no transfer of ownership, or even now, the interpretation is that holders of the PDRs are not owners of the underlying corporation.
Sir, let me just to clarify, to make it easier. You know that in our Constitution, unless otherwise amended, the Public Service Act states that media should be 100% Filipino-owned. Correct. That is the prevailing rule right now.
That's absolutely correct, Your
Okay, so it is the responsibility of the SEC that if you determine the slightest hint of foreign ownership, that you will call that company's attention, right? And you haven't done that in the case of ABS.
We haven't had the opportunity, Your Honor, to investigate whether or not the implementation of the PDRs by ABS-CBN, applying current law and jurisprudence, would in fact be still aligned with the Constitution.
Because current jurisprudence has changed already, the definition of the PDRs. For example, this was something that they got into prior to this new regulation, assuming that this new regulation is against what they've issued in the past. I think that with the new regulation, it behooves the SEC to immediately investigate big companies if they are within their compliance. I mean, did you see any hint that they might be actually violating any of our laws right now?
So, in Your Honor, in 1999, when the first ABS-CBN PDRs were issued, the prevailing definition of ownership was under the Foreign Investments Act, issued in 1991, where it's based on a total ownership test. So at the time, I think the lawyers in the room would be familiar. Control was in the hands of the determination of who controlled the corporation was dependent on who was the owner of the majority of the capital stock, total capital stock, whether voting or not voting in a corporation. Subsequently, in the cases involving PLDT, Gamboa and Roy, the Supreme Court started to modify that the test. First, saying that control is determined by who has the majority of the voting stock in a corporation. So the relevant test became who had voting control in the Gamboa cases. And on that basis, the SEC issued Memorandum Circular number 8, series of 2013, in order to guide corporations on how to comply with the interpretation of the Supreme Court in the Gamboa cases. Memorandum Circular number 8, series of 2013 of the SEC was then part of the subject matter of the Roy cases, also raised to the Supreme Court, where there began to be a discussion in the Supreme Court about not only voting control, but beneficial ownership. The prevailing rule under Memorandum Circular number 8 is that we look at voting control, who has control over the voting, who has control over the votes that elect the board of a corporation, as well as the total capital stock of the corporation, whether voting or non-voting. There is now a pending case before the Supreme Court, which might give the Supreme Court further opportunity to clarify the test for nationality of a corporation. This is why we are hesitant at this point to make any categorical statement.
But pending that decision of the Supreme Court, for as long as in the past memorandum circulars that have given the guidelines, if they are compliant there, they're technically not in violation because this is a new ruling, if ever, of the Supreme Court. As long as they complied with the past memorandum circulars, they should be covered and they should be allowed to rectify their position in case a new ruling is issued by the Supreme Court, or a new interpretation.
So, Your Honor, that would depend on the ruling of the Supreme Court. Just to give you an idea, Your Honor, in the Gamboa case, the Supreme Court actually remanded to us. That's why we came up with Memorandum Circular number 8. We were directed to guide, in effect, the market on how to comply with the Supreme Court's ruling.
So with the current Memorandum Circular of the SEC, to the best of your knowledge, maybe I can ask the CFO or the board, representative of the board, are you compliant with foreign ownership regulations?
Madam Chair, we believe we are compliant. I think the important statement that the SEC representative made was at the time that the PDRs were offered, they were deemed by the SEC to have been compliant with existing rules and regulations at that time. And so I would agree with the statements being made that if the rules and regulations have changed, then we should be given the opportunity to rectify.
Correct.
Along with those changes. But at the point when this was offered, it was compliant.
So parang meron nga ako nakitang presentation galing din sa inyo para sa lahat ng nakapanood. Siyempre simplistic. But to put it also para maintindihan ng ating mga kababayan, halimbawa may karera, 'di ba? Merong kabayo na tinayaan mo, hindi sa iyong kabayo, pero yung kung tumaya ka doon, meron kang dibidendong makukuha kung nanalo. Parang ganun yung pinakasimpleng explanation, pero SEC, tama ba yun?
Your Honor, I think you are referring to an example given by Attorney Francis Lim. I think, Your Honor, it's much more complicated than
Correct,
that
but
example.
but for the appreciation also of our countrymen, I mean, there are technicalities involved, but this is one way. The truth is, to be able to maintain a company this big, you need as many investors. And our capital pool in the country is not that big. And that's why we have remedial measures also that the government allows to be able to entertain as much investors as possible without them having the say in controlling our news or media, etc. Wala silang voting rights, yung ganun ginagawa natin. But I'm sorry, maybe later on, but I told already that the main focus of this is to see if there's a compliance issue with ABS and also with the other franchises that we have here. And importantly, to hear from the NTC if they could have given us a categorical statement for an extension in the meantime that the franchise is being heard. But I'm encouraged with some of the pronouncements of the NTC. I think we were able to present in this hearing past the precedents with other franchises that have lapsed but were given a provisional permit to operate. Anyway, Senator Sherwin.
Madam Chair, again to the SEC, nakita ko ditang nag-issue ng PDR, hindi naman ABS, kundi ABS Holdings. Correct?
That's correct, Your Honor. As I was saying a while ago, it was ABS-CBN.
So bakit hindi masabi ng SEC ngayon, direkta, na kung may participation ang foreigner sa ABS Corporation?
The structure, Your Honor, is something like this. ABS-CBN Corporation issues shares of stock to ABS-CBN Holdings Corporation. ABS-CBN Holdings Corporation issues Philippine depository receipts to investors, some of whom are foreigners. As we all know, dapat 100% lang ang ownership ng 100% Filipino ang ownership sa isang media company. At the time that the PDRs were issued, the prevailing opinion was the PDRs are not evidence of ownership or certificate of ownership. Yun po yung in 1999. No? And as I said, at that time, the prevailing test for ownership was the control test under the Foreign Investments Act. You look at the shares of stock only. Yung shares of stock ba ng corporation ay 60% Filipino-owned, that would make that corporation Filipino. Since then, pumapasok po sa mga decisions ng Supreme Court this concept of beneficial ownership. Beneficial ownership combined with voting rights. So as you said, subject to verification, normally a PDR would not contain voting rights on the part of the holder, normally. But there can be instances where there's a separate agreement or there are other circumstances whereby nagkakaroon ng voting right yung holder or some kind of control. So we have not yet been able to determine that factually if that's the situation in ABS-CBN.
So, Commissioner, in short, hindi nyo pa nakikita kung may violation itong PDR na ito?
Opo. Hindi pa po namin
na-examine.
Opo.
Kailan nyo matatapos in examination? Because importante itong issue na ito eh. No? This is actually one of the core issues in the quo warranto proceedings. So I was hoping na meron kayong sagot dito, no, para at least ma-establish na natin ngayon. Kailan nyo matatapos yung examination ho ninyo?
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, in anticipation that we might be called upon to render some kind of opinion in the Supreme Court case, we've begun to look into the operationalization of the PDRs and prevailing jurisprudence. But because we also anticipate that either we might be called before the Supreme Court or the Supreme Court, as in previous cases, might remand a portion of this case to the SEC for hearing, we'd rather not make a categorical statement on this at this time.
So you're telling us, but you know, I was looking at the PDRs of ABS. At very explicit, may mga safeguards dito, restriction on foreign ownership. No? And it's quite explicit here that the PDRs is subject to our constitutional requirement. No? So hindi pa ba ho enough ito na magsabi na wala pong foreigner na pag may-ari po ng ABS? Very clear in this PDR.
Yung issue po kasi ngayon is whether this idea of beneficial ownership, what are the elements? Nai-introduce po kasi sa Supreme Court yung concept ng beneficial ownership. Definitely as a PDR holder, meron pong economic right yung holder. Kung ano po yung, kung may dividendo po sa shares of stock, even though I am a PDR holder, for example, and I don't receive the dividend directly, the holding company receives the dividend, and then after paying for the expenses of the holding company, the resulting proceeds is then paid to me as a PDR holder. So may economic interest po yung PDR holder.
Madam
Whether
Chair,
that is
just to close, no, because paikot-ikot tayo, wala tayong pinupuntahan, Commissioner. I would suggest to the Commission na bigyan kami ng definite answer. No, importante ho to no? Importante ho to dito sa ating hearing at paikot-ikot lang ho tayo, Commissioner, with all due respect. No? So, Madam Chair, would like to request from the SEC to give us a definite answer regarding the PDRs that were being discussed.
Or we could ask the SEC, go ahead and investigate already their PDRs. This is crucial to the decision the Congress will come up with, not necessarily to cancel the franchise if they were compliant with past memorandum circulars, but at least moving forward, they can rectify their position.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. We're
How
actually
long is it going to take?
Your Honor, it will depend on how much time you will take to understand the actual financial transactions of ABS-CBN.
I know that ABS is willing to submit to you whatever information you need to be able to come up with your report, and as soon as possible.
We would definitely also want closure, Your Honor. As already mentioned by Senator Angara a while ago, PDRs are not only being issued by ABS-CBN. There are other companies that have made use of PDRs or similar instruments.
Madam Chair, with the permission of Commissioner and the rest, I don't want to jump the line, but ilan kumpanya po ang naka-issue ng PDRs? Just so we have, alam natin ano nakasalalay dito sa what's at stake here in the decision of the Supreme Court. Ilang kumpanya po yan nag-issue ng PDRs?
Your Honor, among the listed companies that we know of, there are two, ABS-CBN and GMA7, as already mentioned by the chairperson. We do not know if there are other companies that have issued PDRs but not in a public offering. Senator Ontiveros has already mentioned that in the case of Rappler had issued PDRs, but they did not issue them in a public offering. It was a private placement with one or two select investors. So we do not always have the information on any PDRs if they're not registered with the Commission. So ganun po. And then depending on how the ruling of the Supreme Court may go, the ruling may affect other corporations as well.
Correct. They go under your authority if they are private. Hindi ba issuance of securities yan under the Securities Code? Pag a certain number of investors, exempted ba siya from informing you?
Your Honor, if the issuance is to 19 or less investors, that's an exempt transaction that does not have to be registered with the SEC.
I'm sorry, I know that my colleagues here have additional questions, but I think it's really important for us to learn from this hearing. That's the most important reason why we're here, is to hear a resource person. So I'd like to give the floor to Ms. Neng Tamano. I know she's one of the ones with concern about the operations of ABS-CBN, and I'd like to give you the opportunity to air that out.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, we have 11 points to present, and after which we will answer the question of Senator Bato de la Rosa regarding the cease and desist order. FICTAP has no business or concern with the renewal of the ABS-CBN franchise. That is for Congress to decide. Second, we are here to inform the Congress about the violation of ABS-CBN TV Plus black box. Third, the ABS-CBN is using free-to-air TV frequency that belongs to the government. Fourth, that the ABS-CBN TV Plus black box is anti-poor because it discriminates generic black boxes from accessing the same free-to-air public TV frequency. The generic box is only less than 400 pesos. The ABS-CBN TV Plus black box is 1,499 pesos. Fifth, the ABS-CBN TV Plus black box is like putting a private toll gate in EDSA. 6. ABS-CBN went beyond their franchise by making the 9 million Filipinos pay for the TV Plus black boxes to exclusively access program service using public free-to-air TV channel. This is a monopoly on government resources. 7. ABS-CBN ignored and blatantly disregarded NTC cease and desist order during the Pacquiao-Mayweather fight. 8. ABS-CBN continues to violate the terms of the test broadcast by continuing to charge the public without a license. 9. The unlicensed ABS-CBN TV Plus black box also cost our organization, composed of micro, small, and medium cable TV operators, usually owned by OFWs, to lose business with their unlicensed activities. 10. We at TikTok pray to impose fines and other penalties for the operation of ABS-CBN TV Plus box without first securing the proper legal permits and authorities, and to order the permanent cessation, termination of the operation of ABS-CBN TV Plus. Lastly, we submit our opposition to the ABS-CBN franchise for the violation of free public service as the franchise should embody.
Thank you, ma'am. So cancel agad ang recommendation ninyo.
Yes.
Okay. Another one?
Yeah. Answer to Senator Bato, please.
Yes, good afternoon, Your Honors. Ito po yung paliwanag ko lang yung kung saan nanggaling yung nagsimula, yung pang opposition namin dito. We're not opposing ABS-CBN, yung sa legacy niya, yung mga nagagawa ko niya para sa bayan, naintindihan mo natin yun. We're talking about specific incidents. So, basically, nag-start siya sa transition from the analog to the digital, na all this time, 2012 hanggang ngayon, sinishepherd to ng NTC. At ang dami yung, sa totoo lang, ang dami efforts po na ginawa ng NTC to maganda yung, para maging maganda yung transition. Kasama ko yung KBP, yung grupo namin and other stakeholders. So, hindi yung totoo na wala silang ginagawa. Actually, ang dami yung hearing na hinuhold para ano ba ang pwede during the different stages of the transition, eventually hanggang magkaroon tayo ng annual shutdown, which is previously dapat 2015 na move kasi hindi kaya ng merkado or for other reasons. Pero basically, naglalabas po ng mga issuances sa NTC, saka nag-hearing ko kami para mapag-usapan kung paano gagawin yon. Noong pong March 30, 2015, nagkaroon po ng demonstration permit yung ABS-CBN Corporation and Amcara Broadcasting Network. So, i-demo nila dapat yung digital ISDBT na digital standard using channel 43, channel 37. Ang inapprove sa demo permit nito, March 30, 2015, 6 na area po. So nakalagay dito, the intended coverage area shall be limited to Metro Manila, Bulacan, Rizal, Cavite, Laguna, and Metro Cebu. After po noon, March 30, 2015 na lumabas yung demonstration permit, nag-advertise na po si ABS-CBN, may mga commercials po siya sa mga other pinapakita ho nila doon sa commercial nila na ang coverage area nila yung ang 6 na nabanggit, pero may dagdag po. Pampanga, Nueva Ecija, Tarlac, Pangasinan, Benguet. So yung 5 po na yon, wala po sa demo permit dated March 30, 2015. Aside from that, nag-advertise din po sila nung pay-per-view ng Battle for Greatness, Pacquiao-Mayweather, scheduled for May 3, 2015 po. So nung nakita po namin yon, nag-report po kami sa NTC, yung pinabanggit ni Sir na kami actually nag-complain. So ang ni-raise namin na issue is, since demonstration permit pa lang siya, well actually, ba't sila nagbibenta? Pangalawa, ang nakalagay sa demonstration permit na to sa 6 lang na areas, bakit yung ina-advertise na at ang coverage na is 11 areas na kagad, wala pang isang buwan yung tumatakbo, tapos bakit meron silang pay-per-view ni Pacquiao? So, ang nangyari po doon, nagkaroon po ng letter na nabanggit ni Senator Bato kanina na dated April 29, 2015 na pinareceive din mo ng NTC doon sa ABS on the same date. Sinasabi po doon, to summarize, no, in view of the foregoing, you are hereby directed to refrain from offering any paid television service in your DTT trials. Kasi trial nga ko siya. Until such time that the Commission has come up with appropriate guidelines for the same. So, for their compliance and guidance. Come May 3 po, pinalabas pa rin ho yung pay-per-view nila at hindi nila binalik yung nakolekta nilang bayad sa tao. So as a result of that po, pinagharap po ng NTC, yung grupo namin, pati representatives from ABSCBN to address the issue. So, question nga ho namin noon kung bakit nag-pay-per-view sila and bakit despite the guidance from the NTC, tinuloy pa rin nila. At that time, ang sagot was that it was more or less too late in the day na na hindi sila tumuloy. So, tinuloy nila. So, nagkaroon po ng subsequent consultations after that na para nga, kasi nga test broadcast siya, para maayos, we backed off. Totoo po yung sinabi ni Com doon na we backed off, to be honest with you guys, para ma-address ni ABS-CBN with understanding na ayusin nila yung permit. Kasi doon naman talaga yung patungo from transition from analog to digital. Going back to the permit na binanggit namin kanina, yung permit nila shall be temporary and shall be valid until June 30, 2015. So technically, nag-expire siya noong June 30, 2015. At least itong permit na to. Nakalagay din dito na the equipment to be used shall be subject to re-export upon completion of the test and evaluation period. So yung ginamit na transmitter, as per this demo permit, dapat iaangkat palabas ulit. Binanggit din dito that the frequency assignment for test broadcast shall be temporary. Binanggit din noon na the temporary permit does not confer any vested right or interest on the grantee thereof. After yung consultations na nag-back off po kami, our assumption was that aayusin na yung papers dito. So nag-continue po yung transition from analog to digital, yung preparations rather. May nabanggit po kanina na itong opinion from the Honorable DOJ, it's dated June 11, 2018. In the first place, that was 3 years after the incident na kinocomplain namin. Secondly, as nabanggit na nga ako nila the opinion is qualified in the sense that it's subject to na kailangan pa rin may permit. Although the franchise itself, the scope of the franchise of ABS-CBN Corporation under Section 1, may commercial purposes nga nakalagay doon, po pwede, as all franchises have, yung sa Section 3 po, nakalagay po doon na kailangan dumaka pa rin sa NTC. So, kailangan mo ng specific permit. Ganon din po ang implication nung sa DOJ opinion na dated June 11, 2018. So, ang sa amin po, kailangan pa rin po kumuha ng permit na nakakalagay po doon na pwede sila mag-pay TV. Specifically, na multiple channels tapos pay TV from a free TV frequency.
Okay, thank you, sir. I think that Attorney Cordova is familiar with the case.
Yes,
okay? I'd like your reaction. Attorney, di ba yan naman talaga yung pinag-uusapan natin na may possible violation pero humingi naman sila ng opinion ng DOJ, yun lang IRR talaga yung iniintay, di ba?
Actually, Your Honor, so if you would look at the DOJ opinion says pwede po siya, but in a way po may violation po rin sila because wala naman po yung implementing rules and regulations dahil po gagawin pa po namin dahil may ka-clarify pa po na part ng opinion. So in a way there's a violation because they continued without that without that permit and without
going back to what you said earlier, yes, which was also stressed by Senator Drilon, 200 pesos ang penalty sa ngayon.
Actually po, if you would look at the law, yun po ang the Public Service Act of 1936 ay still 200 pesos per violation.
Oo. So, ganito, yung cable operators, meron din kayong sariling generic box, di ba? Doon sa generic box ninyo, nagcha-charge kayo doon. Kasi ang ABS, doon sa kanilang mahiwagang black box, 30 pesos ang sinisingil nila monthly. Am I correct here?
Hindi po monthly. Yung 12 channels na nakukuha po sa TV Plus, libre po lahat. Yung KBO is 30 pesos for a weekend po.
Okay. Kayo ba nag-charge din, Ms. Tamano?
Hindi ho lahat. Yung lang malalaking cable TV company nag-charge ng box kung gusto nilang maliwanag yung kanilang reception.
So pareho rin. Meron din mga pinabayaran.
Pero 90% ng cable operators walang digital box. Puro analog.
Puro analog. Kailangan nga mag-migrate. Diba yun ang sinasabi din ng gobyerno. And it takes a lot of capital to be able to migrate. Now, my question also, ma'am, is, kasi sinasabi nyo, dun sa box na generic, hindi pinapayagan ng ABS na pumasok yung ibang mga programs nila. Tama po ba yun? Oo. Pero yung free TV naman, nakukuha ninyo. Diba? Dun sa box na yun.
Free TV, yes.
Oo. Kasi proprietary rin eh. Siyempre, sila yung gumasta para magawa yung content na yon. Halimbawa, sabihin natin kung ano yung mga channels nila. Pero if they should allow the free TV to get in. So, kasama doon ang Cinemo. Is Cinemo accessible?
Opo, hindi pa po, Madam Chair.
But it should be, right? Is it free TV or not? Cable ba yan?
Siguro po we can consult with NTC kung kasama po yan sa must carry. We haven't had that discussion yet.
This is something that we need to, if there's anything we need to consider here, kunyari, sabihin, shut down ABS-CBN, the frequency will be returned to the government. Sure, there will be other companies that might be able to take over. They might have the capital to be able to come up with a company, but remember, content is something that's the lifeblood of the media company. Hindi kasama ang content necessarily, hindi kasama ang content sa frequency. So kung sino man ang kukuha niyan, kung wala rin naman ipapalabas, wala rin naman baliwala. Wala rin kikitain. At doon naman sa mga iba, katulad yan, babalikan ko yung ating presidente ng Union. Pwede talaga kayo maghanap ng trabaho sa ibang kumpanya. Maaari namang magkaroon ng ibang kumpanya. Kung hindi man media, telco, kung saan man. Pero kung matagal na kayo sa isang kumpanya, kaya nga may union kayo, mag-uumpisa kayo sa umpisa. At pag nagkakaedad na, mahirap nang makalipat. Diba? Lalong-lalo na kung physical ang trabaho na ginagawa ninyo. Ano po yung trabaho ninyo sa ABS? Hindi ko natanong.
Sa Regional Operations Coordinator po.
Anong ibig sabihin nun?
Kami po yung support group ng regional stations.
So saan ka nakabase?
Lahat po ng transaction nila, mga for approval dito sa head office. Ako po yung nag-handle.
So, anyway, mabalik tayo kay Ms. Tamano. Maraming salamat din sa opinion nyo. Kasi yan ay talagang dapat tutukan din ng NTC. Kung may mali. At saka actually dito sa Senado, balak namin na amyendahan ang mga, kung kinakailangang batas, kung hindi magagawa ng NTC as an IRR, taasan ang multa, taasan ang parusa, kung may suspension o kung anong kailangan gawin. Kaya, importante na nalagay niyo yan for the record, and I understand that there are a lot of small cable operators na mga OFW or small business owners ang may-ari. So you service the OFW community as does other networks like ABS and GMA. So pare-pareho naman tayo dito at huwag na rin tayo magbulahan. Lahat naman tayo dito kahit nagseservisyo, gusto na natin kumita. 'Di ba? So wag lang natin lalamangan ang ating mga kababayan na dahil kumikita tayo ay isinasantabi na natin ang tamang pamamaraan ng paggawa ng negosyo. So, anyway, Senator Risa.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Isa na lang po na follow-up question sa NTC rin po, and isa pang, kalahating tanong kasi kaugnay ng follow-up question. So, kay Commissioner po, have guidelines for that, yung pinag-usapan natin kaninang conditional access system, been promulgated? Kasi bakit ang tagal? No? Given the pace of development in the industry, hindi ba dapat nagki-keep pace yung commission?
Actually, as I have mentioned earlier, Senator, ano po kasi, meron po kasing part nung DOJ opinion na gusto pa sanang i-clarify ng mga broadcasters. Actually, we can, if you would want, we can submit yung pong DOJ opinion. Meron po kasi dito na dapat daw po ay, pwede sila mag-pay-per-view, pero dapat po ay hindi cable TV. Ibig pong sabihin kasi, tama rin naman po, otherwise they would be taking over the business of the cable TV operators kung lahat po ng channel nila ay gagawin po nilang parang pay-per-view, which would be to the detriment of the cable TV industry. Kaya po, we will be sending request to clarify ito pong part na ito sa Secretary of Justice.
Thank you, Madam Chair. But in any case po, syempre yung DOJ po, sila yung pangunahin sa mga constitutional and legal issues sa loob ng executive, ng department. And kayo naman po, ang commission naman po, ang may technical and technological expertise para mas proactively sana moving forward din magabayan, mabigyan ng payo yung department para hindi na nga ganitong katagal. So to my last half question, Madam Chair, related na rin po dito sa NTC regarding yung isa pang issue na nilelevy laban sa ABS-CBN, yung di umanong transfer of franchise without approval of Congress. Bagamat, diba, may nangyaring ganyan na sa paglipat ng Mr. Tel franchise and napayagan naman. So, kaugnay niyan at kaugnay din ng may ibang mga sitwasyon na may mga frequency holders na hindi ginagamit yung frequency nila pero pinayagang panghawakan pa rin ito hanggang sa ibinenta na yung mga kumpanya. So overall, and as a last question, Madam Chair, sa tingin po ba ng NTC, hindi ba panahon na para i-update yung radio code at i-modernize yung pangangasiwa natin sa radio frequency spectrum?
Actually, ma'am, yung po kasing batas natin is 1931 pa po. Pagkatapos yung pong Public Service Act is 1936. Yun naman pong Public Telecommunications Act ay 1995. At that time ay wala pa pong internet na dito sa atin. So, yes,
actually, if I may just interject. In fact, Congress just passed the amendments to the Public Service Act, which will eventually allow foreign ownership in media. So, I'm sorry, but we need to really wrap up now. Senator Bato.
Last question, Madam Chair. Thank you. Can anybody from the executives of ABSCBN here can confirm or deny the news that I have just read from one newspaper stating therein that ABSCBN head honcho Gabi Lopez is a US citizen? Ano bang katotohanan dito kung may kung mayroong pwedeng sumagot dito? Amerikano ba siya o Pilipino?
Madam Chair, Your Honor, dun sa pagkakaalam ko po, si Gabi Lopez is a Filipino citizen. Yung tatay niya po is Filipino and may hawak din po siyang Philippine passport.
Somebody was raising their hands. Can you shed light on the issue? No. It has nothing to do with it.
Madagdag ko lang, Madam Chair, kasi sabi dito sa article nito, Gabi Lopez has been with the company since 1987 at naging Pilipino lang siya during the application of the naturalization law noong 2004. So, ibig sabihin, habang panahon, 18 years siyang nagbabayulit ng batas ang ABSCBN kung if indeed, before the naturalization law took effect, siya ay US citizen. 18 years daw na nababayulit ng ABSCBN itong provision ng Constitution.
Alam mo kung nag-dual citizen siya, I think Senator Drilon, who's the author of the law, can shed light on the matter.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, we crafted we wrote the Dual Citizenship Act, and the purpose was to revert to Filipino citizenship all those who lost their Filipino citizenship by virtue of a 1932 law. And therefore, in effect, you are reverting to your Filipino citizenship from birth once you reacquire Filipino citizenship. Yes, in effect, retroactive. So I don't know the circumstances here on Mr. Lopez. I'm just stating what the law is, Madam Chair.
So, meaning siya, retroactive. Yung from 1987 na Amerikano pa siya, hanggang naging 2004 na bumalik yung kanyang citizenship, baliwala na yun.
Hindi ko po alam ang particular circumstances. What we're just stating is the purpose of the law. The purpose of the law is to repeal a previous law which caused the loss of Philippine citizenship when you acquire foreign citizenship. We repealed that law. So in effect, you never are presumed to have lost your citizenship under the Public Act of the 1930s. That's our purpose, and that was the intention of the law. I do not know the circumstances in the particular case of Mr. Lopez.
Thank you, sir. Sana you can shed more light on this issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. For the record, we categorically say that Mr. Lopez is a Filipino citizen, and we will submit the corresponding documentary support for that to this committee.
Thank you for that. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Before we close, I'd like to hear the chairman, president of PAMI, and then also kayo po, ano po?
From Centro po.
From where?
From Centro, the Labor Center.
The UP Center?
The Labor Center.
Labor
po,
Center. Go ahead, Ms. Rufino, and then kayo po sa Centro.
Madam
Mr.
Chair,
Mata.
in behalf of the family, we are here to support the ABS-CBN as they have been in the service of the Filipino and they have provided entertainment for so many years.
Of course, you handle artists, and not all artists are always happy. There are gripes, there are concerns, right? I mean, it can be very difficult also to balance that. But on the whole, do you see it a problem? Kunyari, nagsara yung ABS-CBN, ma-absorb naman ng Viva, ma-absorb naman ng GMA. But do you think that will be enough?
No, it's not enough, and it's not also good to have a monopoly. Just one network, GMA.
TV5, yes.
And TV5. And ABS has been good to almost all of our artists. That's all.
The truth, yes.
That's the truth.
Okay. All right. Mr. Mata.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Gusto ko lang po mag-respond dun sa tanong ninyo na ay comment ninyo na pwede naman maghanap yung mga manggagawa ng trabaho later on, no? At magpahayag na rin po. Ang point nga po namin dito ay, bakit po kailangan kasi silang mag-sacrifice? Ang tingin namin, kung may galit yung ating Pangulo sa ilang mga oligarchs natin, bakit po yung mga manggagawa ang kailangan magbayad ng galit na yon? Kaya masaya ho kami na merong ganitong hearing at we commend the Senate, particularly under your leadership, ma'am, for holding this. Lalo na nalaman namin, marami pa palang gustong pumigil dito. No? Gusto lang namin idagdag ang boses namin dun sa widespread and growing public clamor na i-renew talaga yung franchise ng ABS-CBN. Kaya nang nabanggit, gusto ko reiterate na ito po ay may chilling effect talaga, no, sa yung pag-hostage ng franchise network ay hindi maganda para sa ating demokrasya because it has a chilling effect, no, sa ating broadcast network at iba pa mga similar media outfit na ang mensahe ay parang sinasabi, pag na-offend mo yung powers that be, pwede ka na lang basta i-punish na tanggalan ng prangkisa. Ngayon nga, kaya nagpapasalamat kami nandito kami dahil narinig namin, marami pala dun sa mga penalties na kung mapapatunayan na totoo, hindi naman pala nangangahulugan na kailangan mag-revoke ng prangkisa. No, ang kailangan lang ay penalize sila. No, at may mga batas naman tayong sapat para diyan, no? So ang gusto naming sabihin, kung ang ABS-CBN ay binivilify for many issues, then let them face these accusations, and then they should be punished together. Kung meron man nag-enable sa kanila through corporate capture, if you like, i-punish din sila, pero hindi revocation ng franchise ang solusyon doon. And last point, ma'am, and just to make sure na para lang malinaw, ang panawagan po talaga ng manggagawa ay magkaroon ng franchise ang ABS-CBN. But we'd like that franchise to come with a guarantee that the company or any other companies that will eventually have asked for their franchise as well, that the company would guarantee respect for workers and trade union rights, including ensuring regular jobs to its workers and the recognition of the union and its collective bargaining agreement. So thank you very much po at mabuhay.
Thank you, Mr. Mato. That is really helpful. Before I give the floor to sir, you'll have the turn for the franchises later on. Before I give the floor to Senator Gatchalian, I just received also a text that apparently GMA 7 do you have a representative here? GMA 7. Why are you there? Please come here. Did we administer your oath? Anybody who might be called. You were extended an invitation, right, to be present? Secretariat, please. Please, what's your name? Attorney David, and what is your role in GMA 7?
I'm currently the first Vice President of Legal Affairs.
Vice President of
Legal Affairs.
Legal Affairs. Please take your oath.
Ma'am, please stand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this proceeding? Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney. Attorney, quick question. Meron kasi nagpadala sa akin ng information na yung supposed commercial na nilabas ng ABS-CBN, napalabas diyon ng 2 araw sa GMA. Pero, nung nagsampa ng kaso for a TRO, hindi na hinintay ng GMA yung lumabas ang desisyon ng TRO. Pinull out na ninyo. Tama ba?
Yes, I believe so. That's correct, Madam Chair.
Okay. So para lamang in the interest of fairness, because the logic of ABS or the reasoning is, the reason why they air this ad is it does not really go against the Omnibus Election Code and also of the COMELEC, as well as they're not there to censor a legitimate ad. It's just that it doesn't violate any existing laws. So it was aired by both. Ito ay pinalabas ng ABS at pinalabas rin ng GMA. Ang kaibahan ng GMA ay hindi na ninyo inintay ang desisyon ng korte dahil may nagsampa ng kaso, attorney, pinull out na ninyo. Diba?
Madam Chair, I don't think we refused to air it after the case was filed by then candidate Rodrigo Duterte. It was a call, I think, of our marketing department not to air it anymore after that one.
Not to air it after the case was filed?
Yes,
okay. So ABS-CBN, with due respect to the process, you did not pull it out because you wanted to wait for a basis to pull it out, a legal basis. So in GMAs, that's a judgment call. In your case, you stuck it out legally. Yun yung inaano ninyo.
In our case pa, we just complied with the TRO that was served on us.
So nung may TRO na, may basihan.
Yes po.
Diba? So kung may nakikinig man dito, hindi lamang isang network ang nag-air nito. Ang kaibahan lang, mas mabilis na nag-pull out yung isa sa airing, mas natagalan ng konti ang GMA. At sa batas, walang nilabag. Pero bilang mga tumatakbo, mga kandidato, ayaw namin ng ganon. Siyempre, sinong may gusto nun, no? Pero siguro dapat linawin sa COMELEC kung ano ba talaga ang dapat na guidelines. And Mr. Nick Dao, do you have something to add to this? Or Mr. Basbanyo, or both of you?
What I was going to add was something not related to the discussion, but I was going to just say, ma'am, that as broadcasters, conventional wisdom would say, mas maganda mawalan kami ng competition. That's not the case, and we fully support the application of ABS-CBN, and this is the reason for that. We know that a robust competition is always good for the market, especially for our audiences. No, in fact, the competition makes not only ABS but the rest of us on our toes. We want to improve our program because there's competition, and ABS has been the benchmark for good competition, and it's not only for the audiences, it's also good for the industry that we improve our programs.
Is that the official position of the KBP?
Yes, madam.
Okay, Mr. Basbanyo,
If I may add, besides Madam Chair, closure of one of the two big networks is not a guarantee that its viewership or listenership, even in the case of radio, I'm talking about experience, the viewership would transfer to the other different stations. It could just go to one, so it would foster, monopoly. It would foster dominance, which is of course not good for everybody, not good for democracy, Madam Chair.
No, in fact, what will happen is, let's say we cancel one network. Yes, some will migrate, let's say, to GMA or to TV5, but other foreign-owned companies will benefit pa, not a local company who creates jobs outside of the country. Diba? Sabihin na natin, lahat naman tayo dito siguro nanonood ng Netflix or ano, pero baka doon mapunta, ilan bang trabahong nabibigay nun dito sa ating bansa? Diba? Kahit pa paano, supportahan din naman natin yung mga naririto.
Madam Chair, lastly, anyway, patapos na tayo, pwede magpasalamat. Yeah, on behalf of the KBP, we would like to thank you, the committee and the Senate leadership for the approval of the 45 franchise applications last time. No? It was done in a very efficient and unprecedented manner. I think the thanks should also go to the House, to the leadership and the Committee on Franchises, dahil na doon naman nagsimula yun ng 45 na yun, and of course to the President, no? Na ipasa at it was enacted into law, itong 45 na to. So thank you very much, and we hope that it will happen also. It will be the same to all the existing applicants, including ABS-CBN.
In fact, Mr. Basbanyo, no, Mr. Cordoba, di ba sinabi mo, kasi ngayon lang nangyari na merong mga objections regarding sa franchise. Ngayon lang nangyari na talagang maingay ang diskusyon ukol dito. Pero may mga objections din dati. Smart at Globe, ang objections noon ay, you're not building towers fast enough. Your signal is not good enough. The speed is slow. And yet, they presented during the hearing, this is what we plan to do. We plan to roll out more capital. I hope that the ease of doing business law will be passed so that we can put up more cell towers. So, ganun yung nangyari. Merong mga objections. Palaging may objections, lalo na kung napakalaki na ng kumpanya. So with that, I would like to go now to the other franchises. I'm sorry to keep you waiting, and this is all as important, but I'd like to acknowledge the presence of former Congressman and Governor Villafuerte. Welcome to the Senate, sir. Correct, right? Governor?
May I be permitted, with your indulgence, to suggest that having stayed here for almost 5 hours, that we be given the concession that all those small broadcast stations who have been included in the agenda, that a omnibus motion be approved by the Senate,
you know,
approving us.
You really know how Congress works. Sir, hold on. Before I do that, I know the service that you provide, Bicol Broadcasting. There's no doubt about that. I would like to ask the NTC, the BIR, and the SCC if there are any objections to the ones that submitted their applicants for franchise renewal today. Are there any pending cases, pending assessments that need to be addressed? Senator Tolentino.
Chair, for record purposes, can we cite individually the TV and radio franchise applicants present here? I even lost my records.
As I mentioned in my opening, for the record, these are the companies. So please take note.
Madam Chair, if I may advance an answer to your questions, all of us submitted clearances from the BIR, the National Telecommunications Commission, and the SEC before the House of Representatives approve our renewal of franchises.
Okay, we'll just have it for the record. Thank you, Attorney Villafuerte, or Governor Villafuerte, Congressman. Bicol Broadcasting Systems Incorporated, meron na kayong abogado for all of you na nandito ngayon. Global Satellite Technology Services Incorporated, Golden Broadcast. Again, ilan na yung napunta mo dito? Parang dami na. Okay. Golden Broadcast Professional Incorporated, Gold Label Broadcasting System Incorporated, Broadcast Enterprises and Affiliated Media Incorporated, or BEAM, Crusaders Broadcasting Incorporated. So, are you all present? Nandito. BIR, NTC, SEC.
All right, the Senate has just wrapped up its hearing on the ABS-CBN franchise issues. Now, various government agencies, ABS-CBN executives, including its president, Carlo Katigbak, attend today's hearing. But Solicitor General Jose Calida, who earlier filed the quo warranto petition asking the Supreme Court to void ABS-CBN's franchise, is absent. Now, government regulators from the NTC to the BIR to Labor Department told senators the media giant has no outstanding penalties or violations with them. This is contrary to rumors or statements and posts on social media over the past few weeks saying ABS-CBN had been evading taxes, broadcasting illegally, and the like. Now, ABS-CBN lawyers explained the presence of ABS-CBN holdings abroad in the Cayman Islands and Hungary, to be exact, saying in order to conduct business and broadcast content abroad, it was necessary to register in those countries. They insist that these are properly audited and taxes are paid to the Philippine